knee pain from all the football abuse. I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Here in the Pacific Northwest, windows can be one of the best investments you can make to add value to your home. At Dunn Lumber, we have designated Milgard window specialists who have been trained by Milgard to best serve your needs. If you need help finding the right windows for your home, come by one of our 4 Dunn Lumber window showrooms. Or reach out to me personally, Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
Dunn Lumber, building success together.
Take your business to the next level in 2025 with help from WaFd Bank. WaFd Bank's business accounts and cash flow tools get you paid in hours, not weeks, so you can grow your business and meet your goals. You need a best bank. Visit wafdbank.com to learn more. Member FDIC.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Despite tariffs and inflation, Americans are still spending. The retail sales report for June was better than expected.
A lot of folks are taking heart that you have a consumer that is still spending, even with all of this uncertainty.
Kelly O'Grady of Money Watch.
It's also a big rebound from the decline of almost a full percentage point that we saw in May.
We're still spending heavily on essentials, but restaurant sales also rose moderately, as did clothing and accessories. A bill to remove $9 billion in funding for foreign aid programs and public broadcasting is headed now to the House. There were some Republican holdouts in the Senate over fears of cuts to rural radio. NPR CEO Catherine Maher.
I think that this could fundamentally alter public radio as a national service in this country, and that would be a tremendous tragedy.
And critics say it would only have a small impact on the nation's rising debt. In Gaza today, an Israeli shell slammed into the only Catholic church, killing 2 people and wounding the parish priest, who was close to the late Pope Francis. They spoke regularly about the war. CBS's Holly Williams has the latest.
In the church compound, there were apparently many families sheltering from the fighting. Hundreds of people, in fact, both Christians and Muslims. Now, the 2 people reported killed were an elderly woman who was receiving mental health support inside the church compound, as well as the church janitor.
Israel issued a rare apology and said it was investigating. One of the world's shrinking number of Holocaust survivors is 100 years old today. CBS's Vicky Barker reports from London.
Anita Lasker-Wallfisch knows how easily she could have become one of the 6 million Jews killed in the Holocaust.
Music saved my life.
New arrivals at Auschwitz were questioned.
When she asked me what was I doing before the war, so I said I used to play the cello.
Lasker-Wallfisch performed in the concentration camp's famous orchestra. She went on to have an eminent musical career here in Britain. But she also visited schools, warning children about the lessons of the Nazi times. Is she frightened about the rise of the far right in Germany?
The whole world frightens me.
Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
Singer Connie Francis has died.
Sorry now.
Her hits included Who's Sorry Now and Pretty Little Baby. She topped the charts for years in the 50s and 60s, and she continued to perform for decades. She was 87 years old. On Wall Street, investors are cheering the retail sales report and some good profit reports by big companies like PepsiCo. The Dow Jones Industrial is currently up 174. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Police in Kent caught their suspect in a double murder. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, we have got a couple of issues to tell you about. 99 northbound, just north of Royal Brougham Way, there is a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane. That's near the stadium area. There is a little bit of a backup behind that. In fact, it's grown since I last checked the maps. We're slow on 99 all the way down into South Park, and that's spilling over to 509 as well. I-5 northbound, pretty packed in from about South Beacon Hill all the way into downtown Seattle, with some slowing on the West Seattle Bridge. Southbound direction, the Linwood to Seattle Drive is pretty moderate, 39 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 58 minutes. Bellevue to Renton on 405 is very light for this time of day, 22 minutes. Bothell to Bellevue 405 South, 40 minutes. This report brought to you by D.R. Horton. The D.R. Horton National Red Tag Sales Event is going on now through July 20th. Visit a D.R. Horton community today or drhorton.com. America's builder, an equal opportunity builder.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. Police in Kent now have a suspect for a double murder they've been investigating. One man and one woman were shot and killed at an apartment on Benson Road earlier this week. Here's KIRO 17's TV's Jake Chapman.
And thanks to U.S. Marshals from Snohomish County, they were able to arrest this man in the Seattle area for an unrelated charge.
Prosecutors are still reviewing that case. Long lines, lots of waiting, plenty of frustration for residents hauling their own trash to drop-off locations around the region.
How's it smell in the car with all that?
Not that great, but we've double bagged it, so it's, the ride here would be tolerable.
And it's so hot, and it smells, Well,
I got a 2-year-old, so I'm dumping out garbage full of diapers, so this sucks really bad.
That because of an ongoing nationwide Republic trash collection strike. Drop-off locations are open again today. Bagged garbage only, no bulky items. In Kent, you can go to Canyon Ridge Middle School from 8 to 2 today. And in Bellevue, you can drop off from 8 to 2:30 at Odell Middle School. Some areas woke up to the sun peeking through a haze that's hanging around. The Department of Ecology has tracked smoke from Canadian wildfires making its way into our region the last few days. Air quality maps show some areas along the I-5 corridor from Seattle to Tacoma with moderate particulate pollution. That haze may break up later in the day. High temperatures sticking around, prompting the National Weather Service to extend a heat advisory to 8 o'clock tonight. That means Seattle bridges will continue to get cold showers. The Ballard and Fremont bridges will close intermittently for the spray down. Expect 10 to 15-minute delays. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. It is going to heat up to 86 degrees, overnight lows in the high 50s. It is 62 degrees right now in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Thursday, July 17th. Good morning, Ursula.
Good morning. We are going to get right to business because we do have a Gee and Ursula Show. First, an interview with Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank. As you know, he is facing ongoing scrutiny, most recently about how his department handled a senior officer's suspected DUI and vehicular assault arrest over the weekend. KIRO News Radio also broke the news about Swank's own arrest for DUI back in 2007. You can read all about that in mynorthwest.com. The sheriff has also been in the news recently for his controversial stance on immigration enforcement. And then there are his past social media posts while he was at the Seattle Police Department. It's no secret, G, that you and I have been very critical of this sheriff. But until now, we haven't had the chance to talk to him directly. And all that is going to change this morning because Sheriff Keith Swank is with us live now on the Gee and Ursula Show. Thank you, Sheriff, for joining us.
You bet.
So, Sheriff, let's get right to it. Your department's handling of Major Chad Dickerson's DUI arrest is raising a lot of questions. The State Patrol says the scene had already been cleared before Washington State Patrol troopers arrived. Potential evidence may have been removed from his vehicle, and instead of going to the ER, Dickerson was allowed to leave with his wife and go to urgent care. Why was the Major's wife allowed to take him from the scene when he was a potential felony suspect?
Okay, well, let me set the stage for you. After the accident happened, Major Dickerson insisted upon staying at the scene because he did not want to leave the scene to let anybody think that he did a hit and run or anything like that. It was obvious to the supervisor, sergeant there on the scene that he was injured. It was obvious to fire personnel that he was injured. 3 ambulances showed up and they transported the victims of the other vehicle. I think there's 6 or 7 of them to various hospitals. There were children involved. And after those 3 ambulances left, there was no ambulances left to take Major Dickerson anywhere. He still wanted to stay at the scene, and eventually they could see that his physical, he was deteriorating. He was very injured, and they were worried about internal injuries. So at that point, since there were no more ambulances around, his wife took him to an emergency care facility where then after short time periods, my understanding, he was sent to Tacoma General for more injuries that he had that they were worried about.
So you're saying it's because there were no more emergency vehicles available, but yet they saw that he was seriously injured and had concerns about that. The State Patrol also...
I didn't say that they saw he was seriously injured. I said that he was clearly injured and that he was clearly injured and that his physical abilities were deteriorating. So they were thinking he might have internal injury. He had been asked to go. And then finally, because his wife was there, is my understanding, because I wasn't there, she was able to persuade him to go seek care. Because whenever you get in an accident like that, then your adrenaline's pumping and people oftentimes don't realize how injured they really are.
Now, at the scene, your deputies reported that there were no signs of impairment when they arrived at 426. They also did not give him a breath test at the scene. But when troopers arrived at urgent care nearly 2 hours later, they said his breath smelled heavily of alcohol and he had bloodshot, watery eyes. Dickerson only then admitted that he had 2 vodka sodas while golfing. How do you explain that discrepancy?
Well, I don't know about all those reports because I haven't read anything yet. I won't be reading anything until the investigation of WSP is completed. However, if somebody drinks alcohol, it takes a while for it to get into your system. I will say this. I wasn't there. I want everybody to be clear about that. I have a major that was on duty, not Major Dickerson, another major who was a command duty officer. This is a man who has never drank ever in his life, so he has never had alcohol. He understands when somebody's been drinking. He spoke on the phone. He did not see. He spoke on the phone with Major Dickerson. After he spoke with him, this major called me up to tell me about what happened. I asked if there's any signs of impairment. He said he did not detect any by speech. So I don't know what the whole situation is, and we'll find out when the toxicology report comes back.
We're joined here on the Gee and Ursula Show by Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank. And I want to go back to the deputies on the scene. And it was your deputies on the scene that said that they didn't see signs of impairment or smell any signs of alcohol. Did those deputies ask the major if he had had anything to drink?
I have no idea. Like I said, and I'll repeat again, I haven't read any of the reports. I haven't interviewed anybody because ultimately at some point down the road, Sheriff Swank has to make a decision on what happens with this case.
Gotcha.
Administratively. So I'm keeping this open and unbiased and waiting for WSP. But let me back up just for a second. The deputy that arrived at the scene called for WSP to come in there, Washington State Patrol to come in and do the investigation so that we would have a complete, open, and unbiased investigation. And also, Washington State Patrol are experts at investigating accidents and DUIs. So we did the best thing that we could do by calling them in. We didn't call in Eatonville PD or Ording or something like that where we could have. We called in the experts.
So, Sheriff, you talk about the experts. You said the deputies on the scene, again, they saw no signs of impairment, but Washington State Patrol, they did see the signs of impairment there, and they did also smell signs of alcohol. I want to go back real quick before I finish that question. I want to go back to some of your X posts of you on X. Here's a couple of things that you had to say about Washington State Patrol. One of them, you said, you should be embarrassed by this post. Any WSP who wants to work for a real law enforcement organization should come work at Pierce County Sheriff's Department. Here's another thing that you said on X. Is the Washington State Patrol a real law enforcement agency? So, Sheriff, I got to ask, so since you said you wanted to know if they're a real law enforcement agency, what is it that WSP was able to do at urgent care to see signs of impairment that your deputies weren't able to do on the scene?
Well, I think I already answered that to Ursula, so since you didn't catch it, I'll answer it again. I said sometimes it takes a while for alcohol to... Have you ever been drunk before? If you ever been drunk before, sometimes if you chug a bunch of whiskey, it takes a while for it to kick in. So what I'm saying is there was a delay from the scene to the time the WSP troopers saw him. Had he been drinking, and I'm not saying he has been because I haven't read anything, had he been drinking, it could take time for him or anybody else for the symptoms of alcohol to get into your body, which is smelling it on your breath, watery, bloodshot eyes, slurring your speech, things like that. And also, one other thing. When you're involved in an accident, like many of your listeners probably have been, you know your adrenaline is pumping. It completely makes a dump on everything on you. And at the time, if you're under the influence, the adrenaline dump oftentimes will negate the signs of intoxication.
Okay, Sheriff, with all due respect,
you don't have any. I know.
No. I'm trying to be as respectful as possible because I want to get to the bottom of this. I have actually been stopped by State Patrol. I don't drink. Our listeners know I don't drink. I was very comfortable. They put me through the ringer, made me do the so-called perp walk on the side of the freeway. I hadn't had a stitch to drink. They looked at me, looked at my eyes, put the flashlight in my eyes, did the whole shebang. You're telling me that they didn't even ask the question, or you're saying you don't know if they asked a question. Have you asked your deputies if they asked the question, had you been drinking? Because Major Dickerson said it real easily at urgent care. Yeah, I had drinks at the golf course, and he still got behind the wheel. Does that concern you at all?
Of course, if he was drinking at the golf course and got behind the wheel, it concerns me. Let's back up to the question about asking the deputies. So that your listeners are clear, I want to talk to you about law. If our deputies started doing an investigation and it wasn't a thorough investigation, it could blow the whole investigation. So their job, best thing to do there at that time, once they learned he was one of our deputies, in this case a major, is to call in another agency. Do not do any investigating at all. Make sure that the other agency has the scene so they can investigate everything and have all the evidence. We wouldn't want to make an error, and then later on people say, you made the error on purpose so that the case was thrown out. Do you follow what I'm saying? They shouldn't have been asking him any questions. When they realized who he was, they shouldn't have asked him any questions for making sure that the WSP was handed over a full case that they can investigate as thoroughly as possible.
And to that end, Sheriff, the State Patrol says the inside of Major Dickerson's Dodge Ram had already been cleaned out by the time they got to the scene. They also observed that all of the collision debris had been placed in the back of his truck. You're saying that if they had asked questions, which, again, I bring it to my own situation where I was asked immediately, have you been drinking? You're saying you're more concerned if that would have impacted the investigation more so than the potential of tampering of potential evidence or not having the evidence at the scene anymore by the time the investigators got there?
I don't know anything about the evidence, but I can tell you this. If WSP made a traffic stop, first off, you should never do a field sobriety test. I don't know why you did that, even if you drink or not, but that's another discussion some other time. and I'm giving that free legal advice to everybody out there. Second, but if the WSP pulled over a car and it was one of their commanders behind the wheel, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't process that person. They would call in an independent agency. They would say, sir or ma'am, you're not free to leave. They probably wouldn't ask any more questions. They would just call somebody up their superior and say, I have Major Swank here, and he appears to be intoxicated. Would you please call another agency or please show up at the scene to help us out with this thing? Because we understand in law enforcement, we don't investigate our own because of the appearance of impropriety. I do believe our people would have done a thorough investigation, but I don't want anybody to think that we would do something to try to sweep it under the rug or cover it up or anything like that. We are open and transparent with the community as much as we can be by law.
This is the voice of Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Sheriff, how does it make you feel that one of your command majors, a person that you said feels like a family member, has been arrested on suspicion of DUI that sent a whole family to the hospital?
Well, I feel very sad about the family that got injured, the victims, and my heart is upset for that, and I pray for them, and I don't even know what their situations are, and I just pray to God that they're not injured. I don't know if anybody's injured. I heard somebody was, but as I said, I haven't read any of the records. The other part about Major Dickerson, it's the same way as it would be any other family member, your family member, anybody else that this happened to. You would be very sad for them and very upset, but hopefully you would still hold them accountable if they violated the law or policy. So if that is discovered, he will be treated like anybody else would be treated on law enforcement side. And I also want to tell your listeners and you this, we are held to a higher standard as police officers. If you got a DUI and you worked at Boeing or you worked at Target, they wouldn't fire you for it. If you were involved in a vehicular assault possibly, they wouldn't fire you for it. They wouldn't compel a statement from you. They wouldn't make you do things like that, threaten you with suspension and everything like that. So we are held to a high standard, and we'll be to it. And I believe that Major Dickerson, when this is all said and done, will do the right thing, whatever that is, how the evidence leads us.
Sheriff, you said you think that there is a difference between a DUI where a car is moving or just parked, kind of like your DUI when you were parked. What are you saying about your command major? And what is the difference between his DUI arrest, alleged, and yours?
Well, there's a big difference. So I know you like to say that because you have swank derangement syndrome, you want to talk about how bad of a person I am. So let me set the record straight about that. I was too drunk to drive my car in Raymond, Washington 18 years ago in February in the wintertime, and I was in my car, no keys in the ignition, keys are in the back seat, just like we teach people and tell people to do. There wasn't Uber back then. There wasn't cabs back then to give me a ride. I didn't have a ride from anybody. So I was hanging out in my car. I didn't even turn my car on to stay warm. I just had a jacket with me. So it's a big difference. What do you do whenever you are intoxicated and you're someplace you don't have a ride? It's not like being downtown Seattle, Tacoma.
You don't get behind the wheel.
Or nowadays, right?
You don't get behind the wheel.
You don't get behind the wheel with the keys in the ignition. Listen, we tell people all the time, this is what I used to do as a patrol officer. If somebody was in a car, they were intoxicated, but they weren't driving and the car wasn't started, we would do this. Hi, sir or ma'am. I see you're intoxicated. We'll hold your keys if you like us to at the precinct. That way you know that you won't be driving anywhere. And then when you sober up, come get them from the front desk and we'll give them to you. We didn't put people in jail for that. Just to try to do that. So that's the big difference. That's the way I did it. That's discretion of people. But I also understand how people say it. And lastly, if I didn't get behind the wheel in February in Raymond, Washington, I would have died of exposure. So if I didn't get in my car, I would have died. Maybe I should have gotten in the back seat. That would have been maybe better, but still, that's the way it is.
Were there cabs back? Were there cabs?
And oranges.
Were there cabs back then?
No, there weren't. And if you ever
cabs?
been to Raymond, Washington, you could see that it's a very depressed town. At 5 p.m., the sidewalks roll up.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's how that works.
Okay, we have so many more questions, and I know I just heard you accused of having swank derangement syndrome. We have had a lot of criticism of you, and we want you to have a chance to respond. Would you be willing to stay with us because we are running out of time and we have so many other questions, and we want to be fair and give you a chance to answer them?
Yeah, I don't know if you could be fair, but I'd love to answer.
Well,
your
we want you. We want
really
you.
A lot of fun, so I appreciate it.
Okay, so perfect. I'm going to ask you one thing because I do want to have a chance to ask you about your position on ICE and cooperation and going against state law, and that is very important to everyone in your county and really across the state. So we would like to ask you about that. But just on this suspected DUI arrest, if Major Dickerson is charged with vehicular assault, which is a felony, what would you do in terms of his employment?
Well, he's on administrative leave, and I believe in due process. So just because somebody's charged with a crime, I'm not going to fire them. If he gets convicted of a crime, then we have a different discussion there. So that's how that works. It wouldn't be fair if your employer fired you because you were accused of something and you weren't proven guilty, do you think?
Do you hold... Gee is not in law enforcement, for one thing, but I can guarantee you that if Gee was charged with vehicular assault, he would not be on the air today. So you have agreed to stay around with us through the break?
Yeah. Yes.
You've been listening to Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank, and we sure appreciate that. Thank you. I know this is not easy, but it's been important to get a hold of you and give you a chance to respond to the many questions that we have. Stay with us. We will continue our conversation with Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank right after this.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
A big story developing this morning.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We get the latest live from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Huge impacts for Boeing and Boeing workers.
The office, the gym, anywhere.
Water, like taxes, goes all the way down to the bottom, so it'll either come out of the employee's paycheck or the lack of raise.
KIRO News Radio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
With Progressive, you can reach customer service in the way that's easiest for you, by phone, app, or online. We know it would be great if we just magically appeared, but that's more of a genie thing, and we do insurance. But with us, you'd be like, well, it wasn't a genie, but it was great customer service, so that's nice. And sure, you probably would still like the whole 3 wishes thing, so if you meet a genie, you should definitely ask. But when you need us, contact Progressive by phone, app, or online. Just no genies. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Brad's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, where batteries are as low as $89.99. Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Brad is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Get lower home energy bills, cleaner air, and year-round comfort with AeroSeal duct sealing, starting at just $99 for PSE customers replacing their furnace or heat pump. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Jazz Funk Soul hits Dimitro's Jazz Alley this week, July 17th through 20th. Jeff Lorber, Everett Harp, and Paul Jackson Jr. bring the groove with 6 shows celebrating their new album, Simpatico. Tickets at jazzalley.com.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with Xfi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. Immigration advocates are suing the Donald Trump administration over courthouse arrests and fast-track deportations. According to the Washington State Standard, the lawsuit here in the Seattle area says the government is dismissing court cases purposefully because once immigration proceedings are dropped, those people can be deported immediately without a judge's review. The administration says it's part of a plan to deport 1 million people this year. Advocates say it's against the law. All week, the big news in the other Washington has been the rescissions package. That's the bill to take back federal money that Congress already voted to spend. The Senate passed and sent back to the House a package of cuts to foreign aid and public broadcasting. Now it's up to the House, as we hear from CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns.
What is essentially different between what the House passed and what the Senate passed late last night, I should say early this morning, is that it saved the funding cuts that were supposed to go into effect to PEPFAR, that global AIDS program. This is about $400 million.
A small plane crash in the southwest corner of Olympic National Park turned deadly late Tuesday.
National Park rangers in Whidbey Island Search and Rescue pulled 3 people out of the plane, airlifted 2 to the hospital. The 3rd did not make it.
KIRO 7 TV's Al Thomas adds the NTSB is now investigating the cause of that crash. Seattle tops the list for inflation among major U.S. cities. That's according to a new report from Wallet Hub. The Center Square reports prices in the Seattle, Bellevue, Tacoma area jumped 1.4% in just 2 months. Food costs are up nearly 5% over the past year. Energy prices also spiked, especially gas. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Center, we are still recovering from the morning commute. Here's I-5 northbound is kind of the toughest spot. Slowing starts all the way from Rainier Beach into downtown Seattle. There was a disabled vehicle in the right around Seneca. That has cleared, but there's still residual slowing. Spillover slowing on the West Seattle Bridge and on Highway 99 northbound just north of Royal Brougham Way. A disabled vehicle blocking the right lane. That's causing slowing all the way back to about the 509 interchange. 405 northbound from Renton to Bellevue, still struggling a little bit. That drive is about 40 minutes at this point. Just heavy traffic, nothing slowing, nothing in the way. Linwood to Seattle, 37 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, 56 minutes. Bellevue to Renton, 23 minutes. This report brought to you by Washington 811. If you're digging in your yard, the law requires you to call 811 to avoid dangerous and costly damages to utility lines. Call 811 to submit online at digsafelaw.com. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. A little hazy today, but expected to clear out. High in the high 80s, overnight lows in the high 50s. It's 63 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery with KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show, and we are continuing our conversation with Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank. Sheriff, before the break, you accused us of having Swank derangement syndrome because we have criticized you quite often, and I want to commend you, give you a compliment for agreeing to stay on with us for this extended interview. Thank you for that. Now, you have supported allowing Pierce County deputies to work with ICE despite Washington's Keep Washington Working Act, which explicitly bars local law enforcement from helping with immigration enforcement. Why are you pushing for this when it's against the law, and are your deputies following state law?
First off, you have your whole narrative wrong. I've talked about that I want to work with ICE, but we haven't worked with ICE. My deputies aren't working with ICE. I haven't reached out to them. We're not doing anything with ICE at all. The Keep Washington Working Act, in my opinion, is unconstitutional, but right now it's a state law. I'm bringing attention to it to hopefully get it to the U.S. Supreme Court or the L.A. law or California or any sanctuary law so we can have a ruling on it, because I have the state government saying you can't enforce immigration. I have the federal government saying, Sheriff, we want you to work with us, and if you don't, we're going to come after you. So I need to have it resolved. And then lastly, about when things are the law, let me ask you a hypothetical. If in Olympia next year they passed a law and said, police no longer need to have a warrant to enter your house, would you want me to follow that law, or would you want me to say, in Pierce County, we're not going to violate the Constitution? So whenever you say about following laws, I'm not going to follow laws that I believe unconstitutional until they've been ultimately ruled by a court in jurisdiction, not in Washington state, which we all know is a very liberal state.
Okay, so as of right now, you are putting the emphasis on federal law and you are in disagreement with state law. Now, earlier this year on the Jason Ranch show on KTTH, he asked you how big of a problem it is that the county isn't currently cooperating with ICE, and this is what you said.
To be honest with you, I haven't even seen it come up since I've been the sheriff. That's been 3 months. So, I mean, it's not like we're not out searching for people, but now that he started doing this thing, maybe I will start going out searching for people, you know? So to say, look, we weren't concentrating on doing anything like that at all. We were just going about law enforcement, and then all this stuff happened. So they're coming after me. So, you know, what am I going to do? I might just go out and enforce these immigration laws and with the federal government then.
If I live in Pierce County, I'm worried about that statement. Can you explain that?
Why are you worried about it?
Because you think
Why
they're
are you worried about
you think they're going after
criminals?
It sounds vindictive. It sounds like maybe you're going to go out there and do it.
No, what it is, you take it out of context. I believe this is the one whenever the executive of Pierce County, when they issued their legislation of Keep Washington Working. And I said I might. That's what I said to be provocative, to get the conversation going. Look, I'm not going to enforce any regulations with ICE. We're not working with them. People ask me how bad the numbers of illegal immigrants are here. I have no idea because I'm not checking into it. And the reason why I'm not is because I don't want my deputies to be sued by the bully Attorney General, Nick Brown. if I could take all the responsibility myself, I would enforce these laws with my deputies, and if they just sued me, that would be fine. But I don't want them to risk their livelihood. That's what the way bullies do things. They say, well, we're going to sue you personally, so I'm not going to jeopardize my deputies and put them at that risk. That's why I want this thing to be handled in the court, but not in a Washington State court, because I already know how they're going to rule. Just like they ruled against my attorney, they moved to King County. They pick the jurisdiction they want so that they can get the results they want. And that's not right. That's lawfare. And so I'm going to continue fighting for this to get it in front of the U.S. Supreme Court if we can.
We're joined here on the Gee and Ursula Show by Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank. Earlier in the hour, you gave what you called legal advice to all of us and those listening. And what you had said is that no one should really take a field sobriety test. So how have you given that message to your officers about, should they suggest that people driving should not take a field sobriety test? And if you have not said anything to your officers about this, what do you have to say to your officers right now, when now there will probably be a lot of people taking your advice?
Well, and I probably should charge people for that advice. If you ask an attorney that, they'd probably charge you $1,000 just for that. All I was saying is, if you're smart, you don't give us more evidence. That's okay. If you're drunk, we'll still figure it out. So there you go. I'm giving you free advice, right? I'm just making a comment about it, and if you talk to any attorney, they would tell you that. But since I'm not an attorney, I really can't give you legal advice, and it was just a conversation piece there. And we're still going to ask people if they want to do field sobriety tests, and if they want to, then we'll use that evidence as proof of their intoxication, which is just totally fine, right? So that's everybody who's been around a while, who's ever talked to an attorney or anything like that, all attorneys would tell you, don't do that. They'd also tell you what? Don't make statements, right? So that's what attorneys would tell you. That's a good attorney, anyhow.
They don't expect that coming from a sheriff, though.
Why? Why not be fair to people? Treat people with fairness and with compassion and within the constitutional law. Why would I not do that? We tell people, we advise them of Miranda. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. We warn people that. So that's the same thing with warning people about doing field sobriety tests. And I was making a comment about you, Ursula, getting out and doing a field sobriety test. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, I knew I was not drunk. I knew I had not had a bit of alcohol, and I was happy to take the test.
What if you would have tripped and fell or anything like that, or you would have had some medical condition coming on and you wobbled and they thought you were under the influence of drugs, then they would have arrested you. So if you wouldn't have even done it at all, they would have had to do something else to come up with it. See, that's the whole point. You could have tripped or fall. They could say you're wobbly or whatever on uneven roads. So just think about that. That's all I'm saying.
Sheriff, going back to the case that involves a major on your command staff, the judge's no contact order has now expired, meaning that Major Dickerson was not and should not be talking to anyone involved in the investigation, but it has expired. So have you ordered your deputies, who are witnesses, not to talk with Major Dickerson? If you have done that, when did you do it?
I have not done that. The commanders have done that, and even though it has expired, which I didn't know, we are just the order is for none of the people involved in the incident to speak with Major Dickerson until such time as is reasonable, if it ever is, that they can speak with him. So there won't be any conversation with him regarding the incident.
So you didn't know it was expired?
They shouldn't contact him at all.
Yeah.
Pardon?
You didn't know it was expired? You didn't know?
No,
Okay.
I'm going to tell you again.
Okay.
I'm not reading anything associated with it. At some point, I'll read the whole file, and I'll have to make a decision as the CEO, the leader, the elected sheriff of the sheriff's office, to make a decision on if there's any administrative things I need to do with Major Dickerson. And so I want to be fair and objective about it. So I don't taint anything right now by reading things.
What I love what you had to say recently here is about compassion and for people and for everyone. And I actually love that. I want to go back to your X post. On X, you wrote, "Black males are the leading cause of death for children in America." You want to explain that?
FBI stats explain it and shows you if you look it up. It'll show you that gang violence is a leading cause. But now it's changed. If you include 18 and 19-year-olds, it's fentanyl. But back when I made those statements, if we include people under the age of 18, because now they oftentimes people like to include up to 25 as children, but they don't include as 25 for children for various things. If you start with the age of 18 being an adult, the leading cause of death under 18 was black on black violence to young males.
Oh, black on black violence. Okay. Did you?
Absolutely.
Right. Did you ever tweet about white on white violence?
Well, it wasn't the leading cause, but I do tweet about any violence that's going on out there. I tweeted about the quadruple homicide suspect over in Moscow, Idaho. I recently tweeted about some other white guy. I tweeted about white pedophiles. I tweet about people, about criminals. I don't care what race they are, but I also don't just sugarcoat things and change facts around because it doesn't fit the narrative that you like to hear.
Okay, wait a minute. This is Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank. As long as you're talking about tweets, on March 24th of 2023, you tweeted that trans women are men. You also tweeted that Democrats let violent animals like this, and it was referring to a black suspect, back out on the streets to kill Americans. A few days later, you tweeted that Nancy Pelosi coordinated the deadly attack on January 6th and that Ashley Babbitt was murdered, and you said it would be great to see this criminal face accountability for her crime. And then on April 28th of 2023, you said that men and women who pretend to be the other sex are appropriating gender. You ended up retiring in June of that year while you were being investigated for those posts. But SPD's interim chief, Sue Rahr, said that you would have been fired had you not retired. Do you regret saying those things? And I guess as a follow-up, can you assure the public that you can be a sheriff for all in a very diverse county?
Well, first off, what's a woman? Can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I'm asking you the question.
You can't even tell me what a woman is.
Yes,
I stand by trans women are men because they are men. Okay, there's X and Y chromosomes, and it's biology. It's been around forever. Stand by it. The other part about you went through too many tweets. I could have to talk to them individually. But
because you made a lot of tweets. You made a lot of tweets.
Generally speaking, I stand by all my tweets. Some of them are provocative. The other thing is Sue Rahr, who absolutely destroyed the academy, and we're paying for it with everything. The training is so abysmal there. That's another conversation if you want to have it sometime. But she supported my opponent, as you did, and so she reinitiated the complaint against me, and then her October surprise was to send out a letter saying that if I was still employed because I said trans women are men and other things like that, that she would fire me. And so that's all that was to get her opponent to win, who you thought was going to win, and you were really surprised whenever I pulled it off, weren't you?
In other words, you don't regret anything that you've said, and you stand by what you've tweeted.
I don't regret it. I do stand by what I tweet, or I wouldn't tweet it. Of course I stand by it. I stand by everything I've done, right, wrong, or indifferent. It makes me who I am. It makes me a better person. My DUI arrest down in Raymond 18 years ago made me a better person. It's all for a good thing there. It brought me closer to God. So, even though it was a terrible time, dark time in my life then, everything's better because of it. And my compassion is better because of it. Just because I don't want illegal aliens in our country doesn't mean I'm not compassionate to people. I just want legal citizens here. That's all.
You've heard the interview. This is Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank. We appreciate your time. We are unfortunately out of time, but thank you for joining us.
Anytime.
All right. Coming up next here on the Gee and Ursula Show, you know what? I was going to say we should respond to the interview. As you always say, it's time to get a palate cleanser and play something, do something else at 9:47.
But a ton of you are responding right now. A ton of you are responding. So we will make sure that we bring this
at 10
back
o'clock.
And bring excerpts at 10 o'clock
at
on
10
what
o'clock.
you just heard.
Yep. Gee and Ursula.
Crank up the hits and bring on the boom. It's 80s fireworks night at T-Mobile Park. Get ready for a totally tubular show this Friday, presented by T-Mobile. The Mariners face off against the division rival Astros at 7:10. And after the game, the sky will light up to the sound of your favorite 80s jams. Big hits on the field and more big hits after dark.
Grand slam! Julio takes it deep and clears it off.
Mariners baseball, fireworks, and hair metal? Sounds like a rad night. Lock in your seats now at Mariners.com and check out what else is on deck at the ballpark this summer, including 3 straight value games against the Brewers, July 21st through 23rd, and the next Mariners fireworks show on August 1st.
Goodbye, baseball. He does it again. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Leaking and rocks are moving and moon is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
You used to see Chanel glasses everywhere. Not anymore. Chanel has moved away from mass distribution, focusing on being exclusive. Hey, it's G. Scott. Urban Eyes in Kirkland Urban over there. They have a limited edition, boutique exclusive, Chanel framed. Urban Eyes is a verified retailer. Handcrafted in Italy, Chanel uses high-end materials and precision laser etching, ensuring luxury in every piece. Worn by stars like Kendrick Lamar, it is time for you to go elevate your style over at Urban Eyes. Dr. Dana and her team, they're waiting for you right across from QFC in the heart of Kirkland Urban. You know what? I'm going to get off the script and just tell you right now, you need to head over to Urban Eyes. And you need to head to Urban Eyes, and you need to go and check these Chanel glasses out. They're incredible. You put these things on, and you can absolutely feel it. Okay, let me get back professional. Head over to Urban Eyes, over in the heart of Kirkland Urban, right across from QFC. Book your appointment today at myurbaneyes.com.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So you and I have talked before about the folks who think they can do this themselves. And again, I imagine there are a lot of people who are saying, well, new administration, fewer staff members, now I truly can get it done.
Really, in this situation, I do feel really bad for the taxpayer because here you're getting a notice. You call the IRS, you're going to be on hold for 45 minutes to an hour. And so getting through is going to be more difficult. And when you do get through, you're going to be talking to people that are not as well trained as they have been in the past.
Which makes it even easier for them to take advantage, even if it's not intended, against the person who owes taxes.
I've heard it said that they just will make up something because they want to respond to the taxpayer. And people are going to get some really bad information and they're not going to know.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn, None Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new Comcast Business customers can find out how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how you get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Early termination fee applies.
Right now, Kia of Everett has over 400 new vehicles available, and the great part, they're tariff-free. Hi, I'm Eric Butler, the General Manager with Kia of Everett. Tariff-free means you're going to save thousands of dollars. And our terrific lease and financing offers can help you purchase your new Kia now while the timing is right. The best drive to tariff-free savings is to Kia of Everett, where we make owning a new Kia simple, easy, and fun. Visit Kia of Everett at kiaofeverett.com.
Good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Hey, so coming up at 10 o'clock, Ursula and I, we will respond to the interview that we had with the Sheriff Keith Swank of Pierce County. We will also take some of your comments because we see some of you all have texted in, and thank you all for being with us. But at 9:47, like we do every Tuesday and Thursday, Ursula likes to call it, and I call it, a nice little palate cleanser.
Yes.
And
we need it.
We need it. So a quick little would you rather. Here we go. Would you rather get the hiccups or sneeze constantly for the rest of your life?
And both of them would be for the rest of your life?
Yes, you have to pick one. Would you rather get the hiccups or would you rather have to sneeze?
I'd rather sneeze. Sneezing is such a relief. It is the greatest relief. Yes. And the louder I can sneeze, the better.
We know.
I know.
We know.
Stay away from that loud sneeze.
My sneeze is almost as bad as my laugh.
Okay. All right.
But hiccups.
Yeah, hiccup, the worst.
No.
Matter of fact, I had the
so uncomfortable.
I've had the hiccups like once in the last 20-something years, and when I had them, I was scared. Like, what is going on?
Are you kidding me? Once in 20 years.
I don't get the hiccups anymore. Who gets You still get the hiccups?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Ursula, you get the hiccups?
It's been a long time. I'm trying to think of when was the last time I got hiccups?
I'm telling you, I don't get hiccups.
You're lucky.
I know. Okay, here we go. Would you rather freeze to death or cook to death?
So easy.
Freeze.
Same. Me and you the same.
This is grim. This must be a palate cleanser.
Hey, Gee, when you freeze to death and you get hypothermia, like your body actually starts to feel warm.
Exactly.
Right? And then you just kind of drift off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you going to freeze?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, how about this one?
Yeah.
Pancakes or waffles? Talk about a palate cleanser.
I was pancakes at first, and we went to this waffles phenomenon for real.
No,
now
waffles.
I'm back. I'm back to pancakes.
What?
I'm back to pancakes. Yeah. Back to pancakes. All right. That was a quick little palate cleanser.
Yes.
All right. Now.
Yeah, we see you.
We
hear
see all of you. Now, you go get you another cup of coffee. Your boy going to get him another cup of coffee. And at 10 o'clock, we will weigh in to that interview. And I have to tell you, there is one thing that I underestimated. I was not prepared. I was wrong. And I'll tell you what that is at 10 o'clock. Next, Gee and Ursula.
Hey guys, it's Keith Dashafee from Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington, and we are not done celebrating 100 years of industry leadership. For a limited time, get $100 off every window, $100 off every door, or choose 60 months of 0% financing with no interest and equal payments. That's right, 100 years strong, and we're giving you more ways to save on the Pella difference. Schedule your free consultation today at PellaPNW.com. Thank you again for letting us serve you in the Northwest.
We are all watching every dollar more closely these days. So if you are in the market for a new car, you want to make sure that you are going to get the best vehicle, the perfect one for your life and your lifestyle. And you also want to make sure that you have an excellent value. And that is exactly what you are going to get at Carter Subaru. And it is why we are repeat customers. Buying a car at Carter Subaru is always a hassle-free experience, and it always starts with savings. No pushy sales tactics. The customer service is going to be excellent. They treated us like family, and it is why I feel so confident in recommending them to you. Right now, Carter Subaru has the vehicle that you've been searching for. They've got 300 new vehicles in stock, including the 2025 Forester, now with 3.9% financing for 48 months. Or you want to take advantage of the federal tax credit before it goes away, you can lease a 2025 Subaru Solterra and get a credit of up to $7,500.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. Not all buyers will qualify for federal tax credit. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 7/31/25.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. Download the KIRO Newsradio app, where you can watch us live or stream us live anywhere, anytime.
How would this initiative, whatever this initiative is, how would he fund it?
Stay connected everywhere. Download the KIRO Newsradio app.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Have you heard the saying, chuck in a truck? The guy running a roofing company out of his messy pickup? Well, here's the scary part. Washington doesn't require a test or experience to be a licensed roofer, and they definitely don't require a brick and mortar location. Chuck could be working out of his apartment with 0 employees, hiring random guys off the street. Yikes. And the SBA says 90% of roofers are out of business within 5 years. Jim here, Chief Roof Nerd at RoofSmart, where we do things right. We have a real location on Central Avenue in Kent and a team of 50 full-time roofing pros who actually know what they're doing. We're not some fly-by-night outfit. We've put down roots, or in our case, a cement foundation, so you'll always know where to find us. No disappearing acts, no cut corners, just top-quality work from people you can trust. That's RoofSmart. Come see for yourself, or call us at 206-487-4877, or visit us online at GetRoofSmart.com. That's 206-487-4877 or GetRoofSmart.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Despite worries over inflation and tariffs, a new report shows Americans are spending, although Jill Schlesinger tells us there is a heavy focus on necessities.
This report, along with the strong sales from Amazon Prime Days and other retailers, shows that consumers are willing to spend, though they may be getting a little bit more price sensitive and choosy.
But restaurant sales were also higher and spending on clothes. There was an uproar today at a confirmation hearing for Emil Bovee, President Trump's choice for the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, when Senator Chuck Grassley moved to vote on the nomination.
We have to move things along, and I thank everybody for participating. Meeting adjourned.
Democrat Cory Booker argued not all the voices had been heard.
What is another half an hour to allow senators to be heard? It's what the Constitution mandates. It's the ideals of the United States Senate. The world's most deliberative body should take a decent amount of time to deliberate.
The rest of the Democrats walked out. Bovee served as criminal defense lawyer for Trump. The Senate has sent to the House a package that cuts $9 billion from foreign aid and public broadcasting. Natalie Brand has that.
Republicans Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins joined with Democrats to oppose the measure, sounding the alarm over the impact to local public radio and TV stations.
For many families, public television is one of their only early childhood education tools. We shouldn't be pulling the rug out of these children.
The overwhelming majority of CPB's funding flows to NPR and PBS.
entities that have drifted far from their original mission and now serve as megaphones for partisan left-wing activism.
The measure now has to go back to the House for a final vote before the Friday deadline.
Federal health officials will allow a popular e-cigarette to stay on the market, as Wendy Gillette reports.
This Juul ad shows fashionable young adults smiling and vaping, part of what critics say was an active campaign to hook teens. The FDA will allow the company to keep selling e-cigarettes, saying their benefits for adults trying to quit smoking outweigh the risks for teens. The decision applies to both menthol and tobacco-flavored versions, a major win for the company after critics fought for a ban on the devices.
If you've flown this summer, you may have noticed more flight cancellations, especially in the Northeast. Airports from Boston to Atlanta have seen a spike in cancellations over last year. On Wall Street, investors have been reacting to the very positive retail sales report and some promising earnings reports. Stocks are currently higher. The Dow is up 124. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
A bear took a stroll through Redmond City Hall. We'll tell you more about that in just a moment. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, let's start with the best news. Tacoma, green all over the map. 16, I-5, 512, 7. You are a speed limit drive. That changes once you get to the Seattle area. I-5 northbound getting into Seattle is still pretty tough. We had a couple of collisions in the downtown core that have since cleared, but that's caused a backup all the way into Rainier Beach with spillover slowing on the West Seattle Bridge and a little bit on the I-90 westbound merge onto I-5. I-5 southbound is slow from Green Lake into Seattle. Let's get you those travel times. Linwood to Seattle, 31 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, still 51 minutes, which is unusual for this time of day. Bellevue to Renton on 405 is 23 minutes. We've got some slowing in the northbound direction. That travel time is more like 40 minutes from Renton to Bellevue, and there's spillover slowing on 167 merge. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. Updating a story we brought you on Monday. A man was shot 5 times at the Renton Transit Center, but no charges are being filed. Prosecutors say they can't say it wasn't self-defense. Video shows the man swinging a PVC pipe at a woman. Her boyfriend pulls a gun, and her brother eventually opened fire. The King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office says 10 senior prosecutors reviewed that footage. They all agreed the shooting couldn't be proven as a crime without a reasonable doubt. But Renton Police Chief John Schultz disagrees. He says the man appeared defenseless at times and called the shooting excessive. One person has now died after a small plane crashed in Olympic National Park. This happened Tuesday, but we got word of it today after a complicated rescue on a steep forested slope. The NTSB is now investigating the cause of that crash. Puget Sound Fire Department is taking new steps to help prevent cancer among firefighters. KIRO 7 TV's Monique Minglavin has more.
The department is now using Lion Total Care. It used liquid CO2 to remove harmful contaminants from their gear after a fire. And before, they used a water-based cleaner.
But now, as the science has caught up, it's wonderful to see that our industry and our manufacturers have caught up in that process.
The department says this will help the health of 400 uniformed firefighters and also reduce environmental impacts.
A black bear took a casual stroll through Redmond City Hall, even went for a swim. Redmond police shared the video on social media, and they used a drone to track the bear's movements and keep everyone safe. Thanks to that quick response, everyone kept their distance while keeping an eye on the furry guest.
The #1 threat in America, bears.
The bear eventually moved along. No harm done. Just another day in the Northwest. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunny highs in the high 80s today. Lows overnight in the high 50s. Cooler tomorrow at high of 70s and partly cloudy. It is 65 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO Newsradio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show.
with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee Ursula Show. Happy Thursday, July 17th. It's the 10 o'clock hour on the show, and my good buddy Ursula is here. Good morning, Ursula.
Good morning, G. It has been a great first hour, and I fully anticipate it's going to be another really full, news-packed second hour.
It's kind of how you like it.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I feel like I'm in my element. Coming up at 10:30, Sully's going to join us. I saw the headline on mynorthwest.com.
Yeah.
Which was basically a month of hell. That's what we can expect.
Oh.
Okay, I have my birthday month next month. I'm kind of worried about people not even being able to make it to my birthday party. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that is a big... You were asking me yesterday, what are you concerned about? Yeah, that's one thing, traffic.
Okay.
He's going to join us at 10:30, so we'll get a chance to talk to him about that.
Right.
Right now, we invite you to join us on our text line, open for you, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO.
What's new at 10?
So in case you missed it, we did get a chance to interview Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank for the first time here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Those of you who've listened to us for a long time know that we have been very critical of him, some of his policies, some of his positions, some of his past tweets on social media when he was still in the Seattle Police Department. And so this was great. He did. I commend him for agreeing to come on to the show. And so we wanted to play some excerpts because you all had a lot to say about it. And if you missed it, of course, you can listen on our podcast, but we want to share some parts of our interview and have a chance to respond to it. So one of the things that came up was this brand new medical diagnosis, really.
Well, there's a big difference. So I know you like to say that because you have swank derangement syndrome, you want to talk about how bad of a person I am. So let me set the record straight about that.
Okay, so when that came up, I'm like, he's just basically pulling straight out of the Trump playbook.
Yeah.
Trump derangement syndrome, which we've been accused of. We don't have to give a syndrome to the fact that, hey, if we disagree with something and we criticize something, that doesn't mean it's a derangement syndrome, first of all.
Yeah. There's a lot of things to say about that interview, but I'll share with you, there was a high-ranking someone down in Pierce County at the end of last year. And they told me, and as a matter of fact, I shared it with you and Chef, so I'll share it with all of you. They said to me, and I quote, "G, you're going to miss Ed Troyer as sheriff of Pierce County." And this was, after Keith Swank was going to be the incoming sheriff, and he had won the election against Patty Jackson. And I said, huh? He says, oh, you'll see. And I'll never forget that. And I was thinking, look, I had my personal, Ed Troyer, he did some things, especially some specific things that I've talked about all the time. I'm on record saying those things. But at least there were other things that Ed Troyer did, right? At least there were other positive things that Ed Troyer did. At least that there was years of him being the PIO. I mean, this dude at least was doing Toys for Tots. I mean, every time you hear Keith Swank's name come up, it's never for anything positive. And so when we come in to do this interview, which I agree with you, Ursula, I actually give the man respect for coming onto our show. Mm-hmm. No doubt. I'll give him that. But what I was wrong about, what I didn't predict, I did not think that man was as unhinged as I believe right now. Listening to him on that interview, listening and knowing that Pierce County had the opportunity to have who is now Chief Patty Jackson for Tacoma Police Department. They could have had Patty Jackson as their sheriff. Instead, they have this. My heart goes out not just to Pierce County, but I want to be very specific to who my heart goes out to. The Pierce County Sheriff's Department. I know, I've had off the records conversation. Their boss is an embarrassment. I say it all the time, the fish stinks from the head down. And to hear him get on the show and say, I like to be provocative. Like, I can, now, You guys see that. Sometimes I'm on this show and I can be immature and we're having fun, but I'm a radio host. You don't hear a leader talk that way. And I don't care about partisans. I don't care about any kind of politics. You just don't hear leadership when it comes to this man. He sounds like a very bitter, unhinged, petty, insecure person.
So I want to go back to some of the parts of the interview that we talked about. We spent a lot of time on this investigation involving the major, Chad Dickerson, who is essentially the person in charge of all criminal investigations in the department. So Pierce County deputies had responded to this accident in which a bunch of people, including Major Dickerson, were injured. And it happened on Saturday in Graham in the middle of the afternoon. Pierce County deputies basically claimed that they did not see any signs of impairment. We asked Keith Swank a bunch of questions about that, and he told us essentially that he knows nothing about the accident report, the Washington State Patrol statement, or the condition of the victims. That came as a surprise.
And I pray for them, and I don't even know what their situations are, and I just pray to God that they're not injured. I don't know if anybody's injured. I heard somebody was, but as I said, I haven't read any of the records.
Oh. So why does he keep doing
Okay, I'm sorry,
interviews?
but it's been widely reported. You cannot tell me that you don't know, that you didn't go through the police reports, the details. I would say that you're not doing your job as sheriff if we're telling you this information.
Just to peel back the curtains a little bit, because Ursula, I have 3 pieces of audio from his specific replies about what Pierce County did to investigate and why the major was allowed to go to an urgent care facility with his wife. So first of all, this is the DUI analysis that was done. Sheriff Swank said he had no idea if his officers or deputies asked the major if he'd been drinking, but...
So he has never had alcohol. He understands when somebody's been drinking. He spoke on the phone. He did not see. He spoke on the phone with Major Dickerson. After he spoke with him, this major called me up to tell me about what happened. I asked if there's any signs of impairment. He said he did not detect anybody but any by speech.
So it seems like that was the only investigation.
By phone.
Yes.
And so remember, go ahead, G. Well, I was going to say, remember, I brought up to the sheriff that coming back from a party where I had not had even a stitch of alcohol, got pulled over because it looked like I was swerving, apparently. It was late at night on I-5. State Patrol pulled me over, and they asked me, whether I had been drinking. They flat out asked me, had I been drinking? Have you taken any medication? I mean, they had asked me a whole bunch of things, and I knew flat out I hadn't taken nothing. Right. The only thing I was guilty of was probably driving while tired. Mm-hmm. And so, I mentioned that. Are we supposed to believe that this was a good investigation at the scene, that the major called, said, by phone, I did not detect any signs of impairment? Like, would that have been applied to me as a citizen there?
No.
If I was involved in an accident that frankly, both cars were seriously damaged, but more importantly, people were seriously injured.
Right. No, that you would not be afforded that. Before doing this interview, sometimes Ursula and I mean, as you all know, we prepare for an interview, and of course we prepare to talk to Sheriff Keith Swank. Ursula has her law enforcement folks that she talks to, and I have folks that law enforcement as well that I talk to. Here's something that is really has me scratching my head. Not one time has someone said to both you and I off the record, hey, hold tight, maybe this could look a certain type of way. Every single person that we have talked to has said this is sketchy at best with this topic.
Yeah. Yes.
And
even law enforcement calling in the midst of the interview. Yeah.
Of the interview. And so going back to what Chef just played, and here's someone who, like you said, it was news to us. He said, well, you know what? I haven't read anything. I haven't looked at the reports or anything. So think about this for a second. and fair. Maybe he wants to stay impartial. Maybe he doesn't want to read it. Then if he hasn't read anything, if he doesn't know about the judge's no contact order expiring, he doesn't know any of those things, then why is he going to interview about this topic on our sister station, on Jason Ranch's show? Why is he coming on the Gee and Ursula show? Is it just to defend his 2007 DUI? Which, by the way, I don't even care about that DUI. It's something that
we had so many other things we wanted to ask him about.
So many other things to ask about. But I found it interesting that when I asked him the difference, because he said his DUI was while he was parked and his Major's DUI was while it was moving, and he said that there is a big difference between the two, I noticed that he only, again, talked about his and would not talk about the Major.
Yeah, and all we're trying to get to is, because of this Major's position, the person who oversees all criminal investigations, the boss of those who responded to the scene, was he given preferential treatment? This is something that Keith Swank also mentioned during our interview. He gave some surprising legal advice.
First off, you should never do a field sobriety test. I don't know why you did that, even if you drink or not. But
so that was the advice he was giving me. The reason I took it was like I was completely confident you're going to find nothing, and sure enough, 0.00 is what came up.
Now, okay, in fairness, Ursula, I have not had that conversation yet with any law enforcement, but he gave everyone legal advice. The sheriff of Pierce County got on here and told everyone, you should not take a field sobriety test. So I just wonder did he prepare his officers, them knowing that that's going to happen? Because his officers now might have a different time. There might be a shortage of response time because there's a bunch of officers that have citizens saying, hey, I'm not taking a field sobriety test, take me to the station. Hey, I'm not taking a field sobriety test, take me to the station. So you have a whole bunch of officers that now have to take folks to the station now because the sheriff told everybody, don't take field
As
sobriety
sheriff,
tests.
his concern should be, we don't want people driving dangerously on the street. We don't want anyone endangering other people's lives. So, if you are driving under the influence, we don't want to help you avoid a charge. You need to pay the penalty of driving under the influence.
Speaking of law enforcement feedback, because we're getting it flying in during this segment, I want to go back to why Major Dickerson was allowed to go to urgent care with his wife. And I'll play you what the sheriff said.
he was clearly injured and that his physical abilities were deteriorating, so they were thinking he might have internal injury. He had been asked to go, and then finally, because his wife was there, is my understanding, because I wasn't there, she was able to persuade him to go seek care.
A law enforcement officer that has been in contact with our show for years wrote in, he said, wait, if Pierce County deputies were worried Major Dickerson had internal injuries, why did they let him be transported by a civilian in a non-emergency vehicle? And did he really just say you should never do field sobriety tests?
Yes, and yes. But he said the answer to the thing was that they had run out of emergency vehicles. They had run out of ambulances.
Well, let me just say this, and here, this is a conversation that I had last night. This was a family that was hit in a vehicle. This was in Pierce County. They were hit by someone higher up in the police department, a major in the command staff. There is a good possibility that Pierce County is going to be on the hook for something like this, especially the way this investigation is going, especially when you have the wife show up to the scene and drive away, especially when the deputies said they saw no signs of intoxication or smelled any alcohol, but then Washington State Patrol goes to urgent care and did.
You want to hear his explanation for why his deputies would not have smelled alcohol on Dickerson, but State Patrol officers would 2 hours later. This is what he had to say.
Well, I think I already answered that to Ursula, so since you didn't catch it, I'll answer it again. I said sometimes it takes a while for alcohol to... Have you ever been drunk before? If you ever been drunk before, sometimes if you chug a bunch of whiskey, it takes a while for it to kick in.
So to be clear, Major Dickerson had told Washington State Patrol troopers that he had vodka while he was golfing before the accident, would have had plenty of time. But then again, he hasn't read anything about this. He's either saying that or he's saying that the major chugged a bunch of liquor on the way to urgent care.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you missed the interview, you can catch it on our podcast for sure. And we would love it if you do, because I think that was a very important conversation. A lot of you have weighed in. Will in Puyallup said one of the biggest L's Pierce County, my county, ever took was being tricked into voting for Swank. 509 says, I did not vote for Swank, but I didn't know enough about him to be anti-Swank. This interview has only confirmed that I will not only not vote for him, but I will be vocal about being anti-Swank. I will be glad to be accused of Swank. What is it? Derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes, SDS.
I can tell you this, Ursula. I can tell you this. Pierce County now knows. They know. They know what they have in a sheriff
You
right
live in
now.
Pierce County. You're hearing it.
Oh yeah, I'm hearing it big time. Right? They know what they now have, and they also know that the city, that Tacoma, the TPD, Tacoma Police Department, got an amazing person in Patty Jackson. And the reason why I keep bringing Patty Jackson up is because it's one of those things, Ursula. It's like, man, you let that one get away. Mm-hmm. It was right here. Mm-hmm. And not only did
and people voted him, people, but I think there was a lot of information that was
know.
not there.
Agree.
They did not know that.
They know now.
Carrie in Ferndale says, when I hear a true MAGA speak their insidious nonsense, I'm reminded of those words. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. We know who he is. There's no question. And we all have to live what is done now. Kevin in Seattle said, OMG, guys, Swank is a bigot. Imagine being anything but white and straight in Pierce County. Absolutely chilling interview. But then there's Glenn in Seattle who says, 3 cheers for the sheriff for having the kahunas to stand up for what he believes in. And the vast majority of you appreciated the interview, but there were a few criticisms for us. Johnny in the 206 said, how much time have you guys prepared for the interview with the sheriff? I'll answer like we do with basically every interview, but I think we spent a little extra time knowing that we've been very critical of him. And Johnny says, it seems like it was all hands on deck there, working on a gotcha moment. Really looked pathetic, he says. Now cherry pick the narrative you want to push. Y'all heard it for yourself.
I got to tell you, for everybody that's saying the gotcha moments, I take no credit in it. Keith Swank gotcha himself. Like, he really made the comment that, I don't know if you guys have ever drank alcohol before, but it doesn't show up immediately.
I mean, he was giving advice as to how you could basically beat a DUI. Okay. Anyway, hey, coming up at 10:30, as we said, we're going to have Chris Sullivan join us because we need to know what's going on in terms of traffic and how you can avoid what he's calling a month of hell. Or can you avoid it? We'll have that next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
This hour is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
KIRO Newsradio, the Northwest's trusted news source.
Get the latest from KIRO Newsradio's James Lynch.
It happened Wednesday morning just after 6 o'clock.
Experienced voices you trust.
Several people hurt after a violent Saturday in Pierce County.
Coverage you depend on.
More from KIRO Newsradio's Matt Markovich.
It's as close to a veto warning as you could possibly get.
KIRO Newsradio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
Hi, my name is Jordan Gage, head of school at King Schools. Is tuition cost the number one thing keeping you from making the leap into Christian education? Did you know that King Schools awards over $2.3 million in tuition assistance every year? 25% of the families that make up this incredible Kings community utilize our variable tuition program to make Kings more accessible. The team at Kings would love to have you on campus for a tour and consultation to see how to make it possible for your family to experience the difference in Christian education at Kings.
Mention this ad and no application fee. Go to joinkings.org for more info.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
All right, Takis fans. Wendy's knows you love your Takis Fuego chips. So we thought, why not make a Takis Fuego meal with a Takis Fuego chicken sandwich with spicy chicken topped with crushed Takis Fuego chips and creamy corn spread. Plus, it comes with Fuego fries inspired by Takis and a bag of Takis Fuego chips. If we had any more heat, we might start an actual... I told him this would happen. For an intense new take on Takis chips, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Includes 1 ounce Takis Fuego chips while supplies last. Takis and Fuego trademarks are used under license.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-230-2777. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-230-2777 or biglou.com.
Cars for Kids, the easy way to donate your car. Donate today and your car can be picked up tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.com or 1-877-CARS4KIDS.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. Rescissions are back in the House. The Senate passed a modified bill to claw back $9 billion in funding, including for foreign aid and public broadcasting. And now it goes back to the House. CBS's Torian Small is on Capitol Hill.
It's expected that this will pass before that Friday deadline. If it does not, then that means this bill is pretty much dead and they'll have to go back to the drawing board, start this process all over again if they can't get it to the president's desk by Friday.
Mortgage rates on the rise again. Business reporter Jason Brooks has those details.
Freddie Mac reports that the 30-year fixed mortgage rate climbed 3 basis points to 6.75%, with rates remaining in a fairly tight range over the past year and well above the levels 3 and 4 years ago that spurred a refi boom and strong home sales. It's unlikely that mortgage rates will be heading much lower anytime soon, with Wall Street expecting the Fed to maintain its rate pause at its meeting later this month.
A month of lane closures on northbound I-5 in Seattle begins this weekend. The freeway will be closed entirely between I-90 and the University District, followed by a month of lane closures across the Ship Canal Bridge. WSDOT's Tom Pierce knows this is going to create huge problems.
There's no good time to do this sort of work, but it has to be done.
I-5 express lanes will stay open in the northbound direction during those closures. The State Department of Transportation is replacing concrete panels and expansion joints across the bridge. Some neighborhoods woke up to the sun peeking through a haze that's hanging around. The Department of Ecology has tracked smoke from Canadian wildfires making its way into our region the last few days. Air quality maps show some areas along the I-5 corridor from Seattle to Tacoma with moderate particulate pollution, but that haze may break up later in the day as the sun pumps more air into the atmosphere. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, let's start at 405 northbound from Renton to Bellevue. We've had kind of some consistent, slower than usual traffic on that route today. 36 minutes to make that drive. Usually it calms down by now. For comparison, the Bellevue to Renton drive is just 23 minutes at this moment. Just heavy traffic, nothing that I can see blocking. Federal Way to Seattle on I-5 northbound is 51 minutes. That's also slower than usual. And Linwood to Seattle on I-5 southbound, 31 minutes. We had a couple of issues in the downtown core on that northbound drive that kind of have had us lagging all morning. But the South Sound Drive is very clear. Seattle to Tacoma, 39 minutes. Tacoma to Olympia, 36 minutes. This update brought to you by Seattle Sports. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial on 97.3 HD2. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. High 80s today, clearing out to full sun. Overnight lows in the high 50s. It is 65 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. I don't know how I sound, but in my ear, I sound pretty bad. Ursula, can you hear me?
I can't hear you, and you can't hear me. There's something going on. So we're going to just pretend all is good.
Yep, that's what we're going to do.
Because something strange is happening.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Right. But we got Sully here, Ursula.
Yeah, welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. We've got Sully. And
it sounds like we've got, Nick, we've got your mic on in there so we can hear what's going on in the control room, but not necessarily here. But our texters will let us know if we're on the air.
Okay, right, so let's just we'll move on because we want to talk about what is going on. The headline says it's going to be a month of hell.
Yeah, month of hell is really what we're going to get. And I'm trying not to be hyperbolic, but month of hell is what we're looking at. And it has the potential to be so because we're basically cutting our artery in Seattle out. We're cutting it. We're cutting the carotid artery, I-5. Northbound I-5 for the next month is going to be severely limited. All lanes are going to be closed this weekend from I-90 to the U District. And then when you wake up and go to work on Monday, there are only going to be 2 lanes open across the Ship Canal Bridge for a month. That's half capacity. So for 32 days, the biggest road in the state of Washington is basically going to be either out of commission or at half capacity. And that is going to mess us up like something you could not believe. But we can still hear you, Nick, on our through our air headphones.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We'll just kind of work through it. It's okay. So we will look at. So what we have is they're doing 20% of the Ship Canal Bridge. They're basically replacing the pavement. They're putting in expansion joints. I mean, that bridge hasn't had any real TLC done other than patchwork for the 60 years since it's been built. So they're going to have to, basically shut this down, and it's going to cause backups on every freeway in our area. Now, you're going to think, oh, well, it's only northbound 405. No big deal. I come in every day from Snohomish County. Well, in order to help the traffic go northbound, they're going to keep the express lanes open northbound, which means coming in the morning from the Snohomish County, the express lanes are not going to be open southbound. And all that traffic in the morning that normally uses the express lanes to get into Seattle, they're going to have to go on the main line. I'm expecting it to be backed up to Linwood every day for the month. going through this, as well as southbound or northbound I-5, plus both Lake Bridges driving in. And it'll probably impact 405 because people will just want to get the heck away from it altogether. It's going to be a nasty month.
Okay. We have heard these kinds of things before, these kinds of warnings, and then it turns out, it either wasn't as bad as we anticipated or it's even worse.
Okay.
Now, what can you equate this to?
Okay, well, let me remember the word Carmageddon.
Yes.
When did Carmageddon become a thing? Do you remember? It was about 10, 12, 15 years ago when they shut down I-90 at 405 for like a week as they were redoing a bunch of stuff. We called Carmageddon. And then Monday, Tuesday showed up. Everything was fine. Everyone took an alternate route. You know what happened Wednesday? Everybody came back. And then we were worse than we possibly could be because they thought I cried chicken. No. And so we'll wait to see.
So you're saying it's inevitable? It's going to happen no matter what?
Pretty much, because unless people do one or two things differently a week in terms of how they get to work, don't just see the first day and go, oh, it was nothing, and then come back. You just have to, hope for the best. And, and a good thing about this is that light rail now goes somewhere. It goes to Linwood. So people who normally use I-5 out of Snohomish County, my Snohomies, I say this would be the time to use light rail for the first time. Check it out, because that will get you off of I-5, maybe 1 or 2 days a week. We always tell you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the heaviest days of the week for commuting. Maybe try it on that Tuesday of next week. Maybe try it on the Wednesday or the Thursday. Ask your job if you can off shift. Maybe you're at the office at 8. Ask the boss, can I come in at 7 or can I come in at 10? We need everybody to kind of do something a little different because it has the potential to shut this region down for a month.
Or if you have just recently started working back in the office, maybe you can go back remote. Gee, what do you think?
I think that there are some people, Sully, that have a fixed time. They can't.
Yeah, I know.
The kids have to be at daycare and all those things. So I wanna ask this. I want to make sure. So it's gonna last for how long?
A month. Okay. We have 2 weekend closures bookending basically 4 weeks of lane closures on I-5 northbound.
And so it's going to last for a month. And the worst times, obviously, is going to be morning and afternoon.
Correct.
Is that right? And even probably the weekends as well.
Well, yeah, because think about what's going on for the next month. We've got the Mariners are in town. We've got both Seahawks preseason games are during this. We've got Seafair. We've got the Ichiro weekend. For the celebration weekend where they're going to have already sold out 47,000 each game for that weekend. So, plus every weekend in this town, there's something going on. It has the potential to really, get in the way. I'm going to be driving. We're going down to Tacoma this weekend. I've never been to a Rainiers game, so we're going to check it. So I'll drive through it on the way home and see what it's like on a late night, see if it's bad on a Saturday.
What time would you recommend, because this is what you're good at, what time would you recommend if people, you got to go at that time, you got daycare, you have a fixed time you have to leave. Would you recommend leaving 30 minutes earlier?
Hour. I'm recommending that people pad an hour into their commute if their drive involves Seattle and I-5 in either direction. Now, that may be wildly pessimistic, but I'd rather you show up to work 20 minutes early and go, darn it, than be stuck for 45 minutes and miss that meeting with your boss or that job interview or that the surgery that you need to get to at Harborview or whatever. You're like me. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. I would be there, plan an hour. That's what I'm expecting. Until this shakes out as we go.
I got to ask. So is WashDOT going to be installing porta potties along the highway?
Great question.
You get 2-3 hour drives. Some people are struggling in their cars.
I agree. It's going to be difficult.
Make sure you have enough gas.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You don't want to go get with a quarter tank and then find out at 145th and Shoreline that you ran out of gas and now you're blocking a lane. It's going to be. It has the potential to be rough. I don't mean to be. I'm kind of fired up and hyperbolic. I'm that way anyway. But I just don't want you to get caught in this and not go, oh, I should have listened, or man, I should have done something different. You should know. Oh, and by the way, tonight for 8 days, starting tonight, we lose Highway 18 underneath I-90 and Snoqualmie for 8 days. Just for fun, I just thought I'd mention that for you. All of this information at mynorthwest.com/choke points. You can find out all the what's blocked or not, but this next month is going to be particularly rough. Particularly rough. Give yourself an extra hour no matter where you're going in and around the Seattle core. And that includes the lake bridges.
What do those truckers be having in the cart? Like the gallons?
Little extra Gatorade bottles? Yeah. I mean, if you don't mind going to little Denny Blaine on the car next to you. Yeah, I went there.
Speaking of Denny Blaine.
That's nudity. I was just going nudity.
Are you going to be part of our field trip? We're going to go.
We have a field trip?
Yes.
We need to go to Denny Blaine. Funny thing is this morning, my buddy Tyree, who works for the... Well, I just said his name. I can't say it now.
By the way,
never mind.
Just quickly,
I had some more things to say about Denny Blaine.
We're going to see for ourselves.
Yeah, we're going to see for ourselves.
When are you doing that? My news director in Portland once sent me out to Rooster Rock of I-84 outside of Portland on the 100-degree day to see what the nudists were doing. That was a great story. Lot of fun that day.
Thanks, Sully. Appreciate it. Coming up next, it's time for scenarios, and I love how we do this. At the bottom of each hour, we just, a little palate cleanser. Do that next, Gee Ursula.
You listen to John Curley every afternoon. What does John listen to every morning?
Here's how I start my morning. Get my pot of coffee going, and then I turn on Seattle's Morning News. I listen to Charlie and Amanda. This is how I prep for my show, because I know those guys have, hundreds of years of experience, although Amanda looks better than Charlie. I'm going to get the straight news.
Experience matters. Seattle's Morning News, weekday mornings 6 to 9 on KIRO Newsradio, 97.3 FM, and the KIRO Newsradio app.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com, sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
No one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
Laugh the night away with comedy icon Rob Schneider at Angel of the Winds Casino Resort on Friday, August 8th.
And then when it comes time to tip,
from SNL fame to hit films, he's bringing his stand-up act to the Rivers Run Event Center.
you know, they just turn the whole terminal around to face me.
Doors at 6:30, show at 7:30.
The first box is 25%. 25?
Tickets start at $79.
I pushed other and I had to make her a cappuccino, but I didn't mind.
Buy now before they sell out. Visit angelofthewinds.com for tickets today.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new Comcast Business customers can find out how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how you get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Early termination fee applies.
Seattle Children's is leading the fight against pediatric cancer with groundbreaking immunotherapy. But research is underfunded and kids need your help. Join Safeway and say yes at checkout to donate to Immunoheroes. Let's fight cancer for all kidkind.
Right now, Kia of Everett has over 400 new vehicles available. And the great part, they're tariff-free. Hi, I'm Eric Butler, the general manager with Kia of Everett. Tariff-free means you're going to save thousands of dollars. And our terrific lease and financing offers can help you purchase your new Kia now while the timing is right. The best drive to tariff-free savings is to Kia of Everett, where we make owning a new Kia simple, easy, and fun. Visit Kia of Everett at kiaofeverett.com.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning, everybody. It's now time for scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
My wife is a Democrat who really dislikes Trump. Everything he stands for, the whole package. I lean more towards the middle politically, but I try to keep the peace. The issue? My parents are coming to visit soon, and my dad is a huge Trump supporter. He's glued to Fox News like it's oxygen. Now, here's where things get tricky. My wife wants to put parental controls on the Fox News channel while they're here, so he can't watch it at all. I told her I wasn't going to slap child locks on a news network. My thinking was, if my dad wants to watch the news, fine. He can do that in another room. We have multiple TVs after all. But that didn't go over well. She said he can watch it only in the bedroom. Problem is, there is no chair in there, and my dad can't really sit comfortably on a bed or couch for long stretches of time. Plus, she doesn't want our 3-year-old exposed to Fox News at all. I told her our toddler's more likely to demand Baba Blast cartoons and won't be absorbing any cable news spin either way. So here's my question. Is it unreasonable for me to draw the line and say, no, I'm not blocking my dad from watching a news channel that he prefers? 888-973-5476. Ursula, you tackle this one first.
Okay. Have you ever heard the comment, happy wife, happy life? Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
At least you knew.
I'm kidding. Yeah, no. Actually, it sounds like his wife is not being reasonable. Yes, it's your home. But in my home, when I have family over, when I have friends over, I want people to feel comfortable in my home. I think it's just overreacting to think that your toddler is going to pay attention to what is going on Fox News. And for the short amount of time that your father-in-law is there, that it is going to really be that big of a problem. I also don't think that you need to treat your father-in-law like a toddler. That said, yeah, don't have him watching it in the living room space where you share that space. And I think that is a reasonable thing, but he should be able to watch his channel. I think that there's a compromise that you can come up with without treating your father-in-law like a toddler, and also for him not to basically hack off his wife anymore.
Karen came and saved the day for me. Karen from Lake Forest Park. She saved the day for me, Ursula.
Okay, what's that?
Easy. Just put a chair in the bedroom. Yes. That's it.
Oh, there you go. That's
Karen,
even better.
You win.
That is even.
By the way, Karen, what you just did for the Karens of the world, you representing, girl.
Okay, I think this one's pretty simple because, look, it's not about your 3-year-old. It's about the peace of your home. And for some people, hearing the sound of Donald Trump's voice or whatever Jesse Waters has to say is not something that they want in their own home. In the same way that a lot of folks, it would be like hearing, somebody scratch nails on the chalkboard if they had to listen to Don Lemon for 10 seconds. So when you come over, or when he comes over, just ask him, hey, I'd love to ask you a question and come up with a compromise so we can keep the peace while you're here. Would you want us to come over to your house and turn on MSNBC full blast? Would you want that in your home and on your TV? And if the answer is no, we're just going to agree to do nothing political on the screens. But larger point, how about people normalize spending time with their families when they're with them instead of having the TV on all the time?
Okay, that's a good one. Carlin Wilkeson also said something similar. Take dad out to do stuff so there isn't time for TV. Oh, and I love maybe dad is not that mobile. And that there are some people who have to watch their programs, and I get that. Mm-hmm. And I love what the Karen in Lake Forest Park said. That is the best solution. Put a chair in the room.
I don't want this conversation to get political.
Yeah.
But I want to be very, very clear, because I know, MSNBC, CNN, all these other stations. There's only one station that's settled out of court for nearly $787 million to Dominion voting systems because of their lies. So, one platform that has had to do that. And if there are any that I'm missing, please text in and let me know. Nick, what do you got?
I'm not going to sit here acting like Fox News is his last wishes for the family. You can find other ways for him to spend time while he's under that roof. And if you don't want the kids watching either, it's fair enough to say no and tell him to watch something else or find another activity. I'm sure he'll survive without those extra minutes of cable news, and maybe he'll be even more productive. So it might be a benefit in disguise. You don't know.
Gee, I hate to fact check you.
Yeah, I need to fact check you too. CNN has several defamation lawsuits in recent years, including, remember, Nick Sandmann?
Oh, yeah. That guy.
That viral video controversy. And then there was also
what did they settle
U.S.
for?
I don't know how much that was, but the network also paid $5 million to U.S. Navy veteran Zachary Young.
I don't know about that
following a defamation verdict. So, yeah, there are...
Okay.
To your point, though, Fox, Newsmax, and OAN all had to settle defamation suits with Dominion.
Huh. Any of them close to 700-something million selling out, not even going to trial? Anybody close to that?
No. But that's not what you said.
No.
So we're just fact-checking ourselves.
Oh. Okay. Coming up next here on the Gee Ursula Show, we got the 11 o'clock hour. We have Agree to Disagree that happens at 11:30. And then up next, I'm sure we'll comment and talk about the Sheriff Keith Swank interview. We'll do that. And then widespread bacterial pollution has been found in 3/4 of Washington beaches last year. We'll do that next. Gee Ursula.
KIRO Newsradio is right there with you.
A big story developing this morning.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
Get the latest live from KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey.
Huge impacts for Boeing and Boeing workers.
The office, the gym, anywhere.
Water, like taxes, goes all the way down to the bottom, so it'll either come out of the employee's paycheck or the lack of raise.
KIRO Newsradio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
All right, Takis fans. Wendy's knows you love your Takis Fuego chips. So we thought, why not make a Takis Fuego meal with a Takis Fuego chicken sandwich with spicy chicken topped with crushed Takis Fuego chips and creamy corn spread. Plus, it comes with Fuego fries inspired by Takis and a bag of Takis Fuego chips. If we had any more heat, we might start an actual... I told him this would happen. For an intense new take on Takis chips, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Includes 1 ounce Takis Fuego chips while supplies last. Takis and Fuego trademarks are used under license.
When you speed, you have less time to react. Follow the speed limit to keep other road users safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. When it comes to the technology that the IRS is using, they're updating systems that haven't been updated in decades. And while that might sound great for them, it's usually bad for the taxpayer who owes.
It is, and their systems, unfortunately, they're just legacy systems. If you try to make an inquiry on some things, it's like you got to know how to use programming language to find it. But they are working on updating that system, and I hope that really they do, because they'll serve us better, the taxpayer better, and get things done quicker. The other thing they're doing is AI, just like every organization. So they're already using it to some extent to put in profile of certain things that they want to look for in a taxpayer and find those people and go after them or see what's going on, why they're not getting their money.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn, None Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution.
Ooh, what was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Michael Wallace. ICE is getting access to the personal information of all 79 million people enrolled in Medicaid.
CBS's Linda Kenyon is at the White House.
An agreement between the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services and the Department of Homeland Security now allows direct access to information, including addresses, social security numbers, ethnicity, race, and health information. The disclosure of this information, which had been challenged, will be used to aid immigration officials with deportations. A spokesman with the Department of Homeland Security says the goal is to ensure that, quote, illegal aliens are not receiving Medicaid benefits that are meant for law-abiding Americans.
CBS's Scott MacFarlane has an update on the Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador.
A federal judge in Nashville has just set a trial date for Kilmar Abrego Garcia in a human smuggling case for late January 2026. You'll recall in this very long saga of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was deported by mistake from Maryland to El Salvador, that he is now charged by the Department of Justice in Tennessee for a 2021 incident in which he was allegedly conspiring to traffic people.
The bill that would claw back $9 billion in funding for foreign aid and public broadcasting is back in the House after the Senate approved it last night. CBS's Torian Small.
It's expected that this will pass before that Friday deadline. If it does not, then that means this bill is pretty much dead, and they'll have to go back to the drawing board, start this process all over again if they can't get it to the president's desk by Friday.
Catherine Maher is the CEO of National Public Radio.
The primary impact of this potential rescission is going to hurt communities where they need support most, which are rural stations.
3 people were killed in an Israeli strike on the only Catholic church in Gaza. The BBC's Yolande Nell is in Jerusalem.
A local church leader said the building had been hit by Israeli tank shelling. Others were injured at the site, including the parish priest, who used to speak regularly to the pontiff's predecessor, Pope Francis. During the war, several hundred displaced people from the local Christian minority have been sheltering in the church compound.
After the attack, Pope Leo again called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Bad news for Steve Miller fans. He has canceled his North American tour, which was supposed to start next month. He cites recent weather disasters like the flooding, tornadoes, and extreme heat. Miller says the risks to his band and fans are unacceptable. Caitlin Clark will miss the WNBA's All-Star Weekend because of her groin injury. Stocks are higher. Dow's up 184. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
An arrest and a double murder out of Kent. We'll tell you more about that in just a moment. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, thanks to a traffic tipster telling us about the issue on 405 northbound. There is a broken down box truck in the middle lane right at the Seahawks Training Center in Renton. That's what's been causing that backup for a long time this morning, all the way from Newcastle through Renton, even down to 167. It's still really thick. The Renton to Bellevue Drive is about 39 minutes at this point, which is at least 15 minutes more than it should be today. The Bellevue to Renton Drive on 405 southbound, for comparison, is only 23 minutes. I-5 northbound has also seen a little bit of slowing. Federal Way to Seattle, 43 minutes at this point. Linwood to Seattle in the southbound direction, 37 minutes. But that southbound drive, looking green all the way, 39 minutes. Seattle to Tacoma, Tacoma to Olympia, 36 minutes. This report brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. In Kent, an arrest in a double murder. Kent police now have a suspect for a double murder they're investigating. One man and one woman were shot and killed at an apartment on Benson Road.
And thanks to U.S. Marshals from Snohomish County, they were able to arrest this man in the Seattle area for an unrelated charge.
KIRO 7 TV's Jake Chapman there. The 51-year-old man suspect has an extensive criminal history. Prosecutors still need to review that case. A gag order has been lifted in the Brian Kohberger murder case. A judge had put broad restrictions in place preventing key people involved in the trial from speaking to the public. But Kohberger pleaded guilty earlier this month to stabbing 4 University of Idaho students to death. No trial means no potential for a biased jury pool, according to the judge. Now the judge will review what of the hundreds of pages of documents and testimony can be released after sentencing. Just in, a controversial asphalt plant proposed along the Cedar River has been scrapped. This ends an 8-year battle between Lakeside Industries and community group Save the Cedar River. Instead, King County Council Vice Chair Reagan Dunn brought the two sides together. He has announced Lakeside Industries will build warehouse space with the support of that group, eliminating the president's presence of crude oil, burners, rock crushers, and lots of noise from the sensitive wetlands area. Washington's Hope Card program is helping survivors feel safer and lighter. Those are portable versions of protection orders so survivors don't have to carry the bulky paperwork. According to the Washington State Standard, the state has issued 2,000 of the wallet-sized cards in just the first 6 months of the program. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. A little hazy today, but expected to clear out. High in the high 80s, overnight lows in the high 50s. It is 65 degrees outside the KIRO News Radio studios. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Thursday, July 17th. Appreciate you all hanging out with us and listening. Good morning, Ursula.
Good morning. Hey, coming up at 11:30, we are going to do Agree to Disagree. But just a reminder that you can listen to our interview with Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank. It's definitely a must-listen interview, and that will be available on our podcast about a half hour after the show ends today. As always, we invite you to join us on our text line, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. And if you like to watch the radio show, you're always welcome to join us on YouTube as well.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
And one of the stories we haven't gotten to yet is that this first Boeing settlement is in, and it's not going to be the last by any stretch. But Boeing and Alaska Airlines have now quietly reached a settlement with 3 Oregon residents who were on board that Flight 1282 when the panel ripped off the side of the Boeing 737 MAX 9 mid-flight. This was back in January of 2024. And this agreement is essentially the first legal conclusion tied to that incident. And it's confidential, but this is the case where the plaintiffs originally were going after $1 billion in damages. And as the Seattle Times reports, this is just the beginning. There are 3 more lawsuits heading to trial, one representing more than 50 passengers and spouses, another one for 35 people, and then another one on behalf of 7 passengers, including 3 kids. And the lawsuits have been on pause while the National Transportation Safety Board has been doing its investigation. And that report was released earlier this month. And you remember that it laid the blame squarely on Boeing for not properly reinstalling 4 bolts that were supposed to secure that door plug. And that is why they say the door plug came out midair. And they also said the FAA was doing a lousy job when it came to oversight. So now you're hearing about this settlement. What are your thoughts?
So, sometimes I feel that, Ursula, that the pay part of it, the settlement, the money, the financial part of it kind of makes us distracted from, like, the admittance of fault. Right? Like, hey, you know what? We messed up in this situation. We messed up. We've investigated. And here's why and how we messed up, right? Like, to actually take us into how did that happen? But instead, what ends up happening is first of all, the families won't get their loved ones back, this one
was not. Yeah, this was door plug.
They won't get that. I mean, you go back to the beginning of that and what they tried to give the people on that plane during that time to kind of make sure it was okay. And then now you have this. But again, the money is what most will pay attention to, and we won't get the admittance of fault. And like, this is what happened. This is how it happened. We want to do better. And in all these cases, all these big companies, all they do is pay.
Well, and not just the big companies. We haven't brought it up today, but the state has paid out so much in lawsuits. And we talked about Pierce County paying out in lawsuits and Tacoma when it came to alleged police misconduct, that kind of thing. But back to this particular situation. This was the blowout where no one was killed. one young man who was sitting closest to that part of the plane. Remember, his shirt was ripped off. It was sucked out midair. Now, I understand. Here's a part of me where I'm skeptical when you hear they were going after $1 billion. I mean, they smelled that this was a chance to go after a company that has a lot of assets, Alaska Airlines and two companies, Alaska Airlines and Boeing, and basically shooting for the moon and probably getting it. Right. No one was killed again. But I can see where, some people were absolutely traumatized. And then there were others like, just jump on board. No pun intended, but we're going to be able to get a lot of money out of this. Do I blame them? Not necessarily, which is why it is so important for companies like Boeing to not have lax things in place in terms of oversight or, trying to get all these planes out the door very quickly. It seems like the door plug blowout caused more repercussions for Boeing than the deadly air crashes. And I don't know if you get that sense as well, but it seems like there were more investigations, there was more scrutiny on the company.
I think the reason why is because the same Mark Lindquist was also is a part of the lawsuit when it comes to the families that lost lives. I think the door plug was the icing on the cake. That was like, okay, enough's enough. I think it was that door plug.
It felt like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. It was enough's enough.
$1 billion to me is a lawsuit where you have like a cancer cluster that's caused by an industrial waste company, right? Not an in-air incident. Because you can look at it in two ways. The best possible thing happened in a terrible situation, and my Lord, I am lucky and I'm thankful for my life, or I bet I could get fat paycheck from this. And that attitude, you cannot honestly tell me all those people suing are traumatized.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but I also have to ask the question, like, would you do the same thing if you were in that plane? If you were in the back and had no idea this happened and you knew there was some kind of commotion, but you only waited.
Something was happening.
Yeah, until
cabin pressure dropped.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
But that's where.
So you can argue like, would I want to get on a plane? Again, I throw that out there. Text line 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. You're saying you would have done exactly what the plaintiffs did.
I probably would have. I would love to see. I don't like this. What's happening now? Everybody is getting a lawsuit.
The litigious society
wants to sue. I don't like that. I would love to think that if I were on that flight and something happened like that, and let's just say I was in the back and I wasn't impacted by it other than maybe the scare of it, I'd like to think, oh, okay, would I need close to how much they're probably going to get? I would think not, but we're a capitalistic society, I'd probably fall in line and be like, okay.
If there's going to be a payout, I want to be part of it.
Yeah, but again,
and that's where we are today.
That's where we are today.
Yeah,
and careful with make sure at your house. Make sure at your house that make sure your homeowner insurance is cool. Because
oh my gosh,
I'm telling you, you never know. And I had a situation years ago where somebody kind of tweaked their ankle a little bit coming off the stairs, and you find out who your friends really are.
Ooh, that's ridiculous. Do you know how many times I've had conversations with other parents and they're like, "Ooh, we don't want the kids doing that over at our house because you might sue us." And I'm like, "Are you?"
Yeah, and they're not wrong.
But they're not wrong.
They're not wrong.
I know.
Exactly.
I know. It's sad. It's sad. Though.
Like if you have a tramp. Oh no, keep going. I don't want to keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move because. Can I just admit that every time I hear that song, I think of the slot machine that's called Stinkin' Rich. Folks who played that game know, because that's the song.
Nobody else knows but you and those folks.
Does anyone smell that? What is it? We're talking about it smells like death or garbage. Yeah, a lot of you are dealing with this right now. Luckily, living in the city of Seattle, so far we've had our garbage picked up. But the question posted on Reddit Seattle yesterday by one West Seattle poster pointed out, Ooh, this morning I woke up with my apartment smelling faintly of something nasty, so I checked the litter boxes, upended the kitchen, looking for food that fell behind something, and the garbage disposal all clean. Then I stepped outside, and the smell was worse. That would be the smell of hot garbage, my friend, roasting away for 2 weeks now in 80 to 90 degree weather. And a Teamsters spokesperson, Matt McQuaid, says to the Seattle Times that things could get a whole lot worse. Have you been affected yet? I want to ask anyone here. I know that Chef has been affected. You're not affected.
I'm not
Somehow,
affected.
luckily, I have not been affected yet.
I haven't. But look, man, stuff can get rough. I'm sure it's an inconvenience. And shout out to those that are striking right now, because what a perfect time to do it. And we talked a lot about it on yesterday, which was the hottest day so far this year. When I think about this topic, I can hear Chef saying, I'm not going to put any garbage into my vehicle. And I was thinking about that. I was like, so somebody's vehicle would have to be so fancy that they wouldn't put any garbage in it. If you got to do it, you got to do it.
How about you? You're the one with the fanciest vehicles.
First of all, I put garbage in my vehicle all the time.
Okay.
So that's why that stood out to me. I put garbage in my vehicle.
Would you put a 50-gallon sack of garbage that had diapers,
Yes.
dog poop bags, like rotting everything that had been in the sun at 80 degrees?
Yes, if I had to. If yes, I mean, look, I've had kids before. It would stink. No pun intended. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Dude, no, because like years ago when I was cooking, there was a girl I worked with who had some octopus in the back of her car, and the tub spilled in the back, and that car was ruined forever.
Yeah, it stays.
Forever.
You're talking to You're talking to a former car detailer.
This is true.
A former car detailer.
Will you clean my car if I take it?
Okay.
You know how to deal with it then.
Okay, yeah. Well, okay, so a lot of folks are not knowing what to do with it. Again, Republic is offering free trash drop-off sites. Not everyone's able to lug their heavy cans, which brings us to one extremely, I think, brilliant idea. This is from a candidate for the Bellevue City Council. He is Paul Clark. He's running for position 1. And I saw that he sent an email to voters yesterday with this offer. He says, with the ongoing garbage strike, many Bellevue residents, especially seniors, are right now dealing with overflowing bins, and they have no idea when pickup will resume.
Genius.
I know. He says, I could be out knocking doors and asking for your vote to solve problems, but right now, he says, I would rather just solve them. So that's what my campaign team and I are doing, stepping up to help out. If you or someone you know needs help getting bagged garbage picked up and disposed of, we're happy to come by. He says, send us your name, address, and the best way to contact you, and we will coordinate a pickup. That is Paul Clark, who's running for City Council Position 1. Now, that was so smart. And I hope people take him up on it.
Very, very smart. And just so you all know, for anybody impacted, I know my homeboy Brian House was talking about it. Look, for all those impacted by this, this would suck, right? It would suck, and I don't think we realize. And by the way, the fact that it sucks, I hope that those that are striking, making sure that they're well compensated, because as you all know, in Philadelphia, they were doing the same thing when it comes to that. So our drivers out there, Ursula, on the road, sanitation, recycle garbage,
they do hard work.
They do hard work.
Yeah, they do hard, dirty
and they're
work.
needed.
Yes, they
Take
are.
care of them people.
So Republic, get on it. And Republic does say that they are trying to bargain in good faith. But the drivers are saying, or the ones who are striking, actually, because a lot of these workers are just honoring picket lines. But the Republic folks are saying we are underpaid and overworked.
Ursula, what would you rather? Here, before you go. What would you rather have happen? No garbage pickup for a few weeks, or no power in your home?
Oh, easy.
Okay.
No garbage pickup.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
Okay.
After 6 hours of no power, I'm like, I'm out.
Wait a minute. I'm glad you said 6 hours.
Yeah, because
I think
that was the last outage that we had. It was 6 hours, and the candles got old after a while.
Okay.
The flashlights, I was done.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about pickleball. You know how much I love pickleball. I've picked it up. Again, no pun intended. But it is official now. Seattle is going to get this massive new pickleball palace. It's going to be built, though, on top of what used to be one of the city's last remaining safe spaces for people who live in RVs. So this story comes from King 5 News. A 54,000 square foot indoor pickleball complex is now under construction in Inner Bay. It's near Magnolia. And we're talking about 20 indoor courts. It's part of a private venture called Pickle at the Palms. And it is backed by Seattle Storm co-owner Ginny Gilder and her family. But here is the catch. Again, this was the former site of Salmon Bay Village, a city-sanctioned safe parking lot for about 50 people living in 30 RVs and 10 tiny homes. And the site closed in May after its lease expired. And right now, there's no new designated location for those displaced residents.
Yeah. So pickleball, as you all know, obviously it originated here over at Bainbridge Island. Pickleball will be in the next, I would say, 5 years, and how UFC has came in and snuck up has been one of the top watched things. Pickleball is it's on its way. Remember, it is going to be a very serious sport throughout this country. The people that come and play, I got to admit, Ursula, I emceed the deal for the Champions of Change, and Doug Baldwin and Cliff Averill and those guys, they had their, and so I was like, oh, okay, that's going to be fun to see the pickleball. I've played pickleball before. It's cool.
It's hard. I know you're exercising.
There were some people there playing that were serious. Yeah. Like, so for all of you all that are real good at pickleball, respect. But that game is growing. We will see professional pickleball within 5 to 10 years.
Okay, I agree with you on all that. But what about the idea of this pickleball site, though?
Love it.
Unfortunately, it's replacing, or it's moving into this space where it was one of the last remaining safe spaces for people who live in RVs. I'm all for advancing pickleball. I mean, it just the way it sounds, it doesn't sound great. And I know because of my conversation with another co-owner from the Seattle Storm, I know that they're all about investing in the community and all that kind of stuff. So, but I look at this and I just say, I wish while this expansion is happening that a lot of effort was also not by the Storm folks, but by the city. Like, why are we losing safe spaces for people who live in RVs? Or why are we, I just found out last week that in the U District, they got rid of their tiny home village. Like, and people around there, because I went to the donut shop, and they were like, those folks have nowhere to go.
Why? Well, this is a consequence of electing a more moderate or conservative, depending on your view, city council. Because I don't think that you would lose a huge RV safe parking lot and a tiny home village in the past without a big fight from some of the progressive city council members. Whether you love them or hate them, there would have been conversation.
So I think the conversation needs to continue. Where are we putting the 50 people who were living in those RVs and 10 tiny homes? Where are those folks? And we'll have to do a little investigation because I want to know, like, what happened to that tiny home village? Where did all those people go?
Yeah, they go somewhere. Coming up next here on the Gee Ursula Show, we got agree to disagree. And here's a question. Would you be okay lowering the voting age from 18 to 16? We'll tell you why we asked that next. Gee Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes. You listen to Charlie and Manda on Seattle's Morning News every morning. What do they listen to every afternoon?
I listen to John all the time when I'm driving home, driving my kids around.
I also listen to the John Curley Show, and even by the end of the day, I still like to keep my brain active, and he's very good at doing that.
John, first of all, is hilarious. I never know where this dude is coming from.
The perfect bookends to your daily commute with KIRO Newsradio on 97.3 FM and the KIRO Newsradio app.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
At Clear Choice Dental Implant Centers, we get that your teeth, your budget, and your story are all unique to you, which is why our experts who specialize in dental implants will build a custom solution around each patient's needs. With personalized treatment plans and third-party financing options, we'll help you get your new teeth on your terms. Visit clearchoice.com or call 888-SMILE-05 to schedule your free consultation today and let us help Seattle start smiling again.
Office is owned by Dr. Alfonso Pinheiro.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event, going on right now through July 20th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder. Jazz Alley and KIRO News Radio are teaming up to send you to opening night, July 31st, with R&B legends Confunction, plus dinner for two. One unforgettable night on us. Enter now at mynorthwest.com/win.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Raftery. In just the last half hour, the White House press secretary has revealed that President Donald Trump has been diagnosed with a vein disorder, venous insufficiency.
I know that many in the media have been speculating about bruising on the president's hand and also swelling in the president's legs. So in the effort of transparency, the president wanted me to share a note from his physician with all of you today.
She says the president noticed mild swelling in his lower legs over the last few weeks. He underwent extensive tests. She says it's a common benign condition and does not affect his duties as president. CBS's Courtney Keeley has an update on diplomatic efforts to reach a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza.
It does look, according to what CBS has heard, that there are talks and there could be a breakthrough. Now, the Qatari prime minister had a private dinner with President Trump last night, extending into the night. And they have a good relationship. He also met the Bahrain leadership in the morning, and this is the Gulf really efforting change, and having Qatar as the mediator to having Qatar having dinner with President Trump is the good sign.
Pediatricians say the CDC is limiting access to COVID vaccines for uninsured children. Health reporter Alexander Tin has those details.
The CDC is ending a requirement that providers keep COVID shots in stock for their patients. It comes after Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. earlier this year ordered the CDC to narrow its broad recommendation for COVID vaccines, saying that only children with additional risk factors should get the shots.
A dramatic mountain rescue in a remote area of the North Cascades. A 31-year-old man was climbing alone on Sinister Peak Tuesday when he fell and slid 200 feet down the side of a glacier. He dislocated his shoulder and injured his head, neck, and legs. He was alone, but kept screaming into the void until he got the attention of a group of hikers who were passing by on the other side of a canyon. They used a Garmin InReach device to contact search and rescue. Crews from Naval Air Station Whidbey Island came in by helicopter and hoisted the injured climber off the side of that mountain. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, we continue to have issues on 405 northbound from Renton into Bellevue, and that's because of a disabled vehicle, a box truck blocking the left lane. That's right at Northeast 44th Street. The backup extends all the way from Newcastle down past the Renton Landing to 167, and there is a backup on 167, so it'll take you a few extra minutes to merge and then get where you're going. Renton to Bellevue is still about 37 minutes. That is an improvement, but it's still a lot longer than this time of day normally is. Bellevue to Renton, 24 minutes in the southbound direction. Bothell to Bellevue, 34 minutes. Linwood to Seattle on I-5 southbound, 43 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle is 41 minutes. This report brought to you by KIRO News Radio. Weather brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Going to heat up into the high 80s today, about 87 degrees in Seattle. Overnight lows in the high 50s. Tomorrow, much cooler in the mid to high 70s. It is 65 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery with KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. It's time for us to agree to disagree, brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves, just really go at it.
Should 16 and 17-year-olds be allowed to vote in national elections? This is not a hypothetical reason I'm bringing it up. The British government has just said yes, announcing it will lower the voting age to 16 ahead of their next general election. So the Labour Party is arguing that in Britain, at 16, you can leave school, you can work, you can pay taxes, and join the military in non-combat roles. But critics say that 18 is the legal minimum age to run as a candidate in an election, to take part in armed combat, to marry, and to buy alcohol or a lottery ticket. Gee, what do you think about the idea of teenagers voting?
You know, I think I've gone back and forth on this. And I would say since specifically doing this show over the last 6 years, I think in the beginning I would say no. I would make it 18. But after further review, after seeing people vote against their own interests, after seeing people say things like, oh, I had no idea. I didn't vote for this. Yeah, I'm cool with 16 now. I really am. If 16 can operate these big old vehicles out here on the road and they can go 60, 70 miles per hour with these vehicles, then they can make decisions, and you can't blame their ignorance on being young, because I see full body capable 45-year-olds so I'm good with it.
You know, I would have answered the same way too. I had no idea where you were going to go.
Okay.
And I would have answered the same way too. Like 16, are you kidding me? 18 might be too young. Maybe it's time to increase the voting age. But I'm with you for many of the reasons that you just mentioned. I'm also in favor of increasing voter participation. So I'm trying to think of, okay, what would be the drawbacks? Yeah, maybe they're not fully mature, but think about it. They are being taught civics right now in high school. In some states. Oh, true. Okay, I would say that maybe many of them are more informed than some adults today. And like you said, I mean, if they can, and in Britain, I didn't remember that part, that they could actually, in non-combat roles, be part of the military. Yep. They could drive. Why wouldn't you trust them with a ballot? Get young people involved early. And that is a demographic that we have such a problem getting to vote.
I can't come up with a non-fear-based argument against this, because it is they're ignorant, they're too easily influenced by their parents' decisions, right? The only reason that this is happening is because they want to swing the vote more liberal. I think I was more informed at age 14, 15, and 16 about politics than I was at 25, because I was working my butt off at 25 and I just stopped paying attention. You know, I vividly recall being for the Iraq War initially and then being against it and taking that swing like throughout the 4 years of my high school.
I'm so glad.
And that followed pretty much the national sentiment at the time. So I think I'm for it, but you're going to have a legal problem doing it here. I guess if you can become an emancipated minor at 16, why not? I'm so glad
that social media wasn't around during the whole Iraq war and stuff like. Oh, I was bad. I was. Oh.
Okay, now Mike in Clearview just texted what could be one of the arguments, one of the cons of lowering the age, which would be what group is the most influenced by older people, and that is one of the.
There's real data on that.
Okay, yeah, and I want to see. So at 16, one of the arguments is many teens are still heavily influenced by their parents or their teachers or what they see on social media, and could that make them more vulnerable to being manipulated?
Okay, there's real studies on this. Real studies say that older people share fake news more.
Okay,
again, I like what that person said.
Yes,
and as a matter of fact, if this was before January 6, 2021, I would be all with you. But man, the way I feel today about who gets influenced and why they get influenced blows my mind. Like being for real, I could understand a 16-year-old like, hey, listen, come on, you got to be better than that. You can't be a follower like that. You gotta come to these opinions on your own. You want to be a leader, not a follower. You want to be right. You know what?
Okay, I think
I'm just choked up. I'm choked up. I can't no more.
Let's move.
All right, let's swing on down to Florida, where former Backstreet Boy Brian Luttrell is in a legal fight with the Florida Sheriff's Office, accusing them of not protecting his nearly $4 million beachfront home from daily trespassers. His complaint is that people are sunbathing and walking and hanging out on sand that he insists is his private property, even though Florida law, as in Washington, says that sand below the high tide line is public. So, Ursula, I mean, we have signs up in Edmonds, just like Brian Littrell does, that say no trespassing private beach. You see this all over the place. If you buy beachfront property, should you have the right to keep people off your sand, or should everyone have access to it?
No, if the law says that they can go up to high tide, then you can expect that. And quite frankly, I just don't think that we have enough public beach access, my opinion. And so if you're going to know that that is the law, and that is something that, not everyone is going to take advantage of having that ability to walk on your property, but it is a possibility. Just like when we bought a house right next to a park, we understand that there are going to be times that there's going to be a lot of noise, but we know that going in. There's going to be a lot of balls that'll fly into our yard when they play baseball. We know that going in. There are going to be people walking their dogs really close to our fence and making Scooter go crazy. We know that going in. I mean, we also have benefits of living next to a park, right? So it's like, yeah, you should have known that going in.
Okay, let me just, I want to speak out of personal experience when it comes to beaches and whether it's private or no trespassing. The only time that I have ran into, hey, you can't be here, was when I was in Destin, Florida.
Oh.
Yeah.
On a beach?
Recently.
Oh yeah. They had.
And they said, this is my private property?
Yeah. They had some of those, they had nice, beautiful homes, and
And how did you feel about that?
I feel it. It was cool. I wasn't mad. It is what it is. I mean, there's a lot of places in Destin where you can go. I didn't. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't think that there is enough places. Like, I don't feel like, do you feel like here in Washington that you're like, hey, I go to this place and I can't go there?
Well, I don't live in Edmonds, but I know that is an issue in Edmonds. So there are some areas that are more populated.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, there are some areas where you want to have that beach access, where it's closer to your home, but you're not the one with the home there.
Right.
Now, I also think that there are people who would take advantage of that and try to troll the folks who own the homes. You know what I mean? Just to be irritating.
Yeah. And similarly, homeowners who do the opposite and say you can't be here when legally you can.
I got a friend just text me and says, we own our home, and it comes with, I believe, 30 feet of waterfront in front of us. We have people come and fish right next to our dock. That is not cool.
That is not
It's
cool.
like they're walking on your front lawn. I know where their place is.
Yeah.
I don't think real cool people that do fishing, they're not going to come do that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
They're intentionally trying to get under your skin, see what I can do.
That's not cool. Yeah. All right. That was a good topic. All right. Talk about show going fast. Your text messages, your feedback, and then we'll have Ursula's words to live by.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
While you're getting ready every morning, make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO Newsradio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO Newsradio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
Over 1,300 schools offer free meals to students in our state during the school year. So what happens when schools are out for the summer? It's G. Scott here to share with you how we are working towards a hunger-free Washington. Sunbucks is a SNAP program that provides $120 of free healthy food per child when school is out. Sunbucks is a flexible food benefit that families can use to buy groceries to help offset rising costs. If you or a parent you know could use the help, simply fill out a form online to determine eligibility to receive $120 per child. If families had cards last year, they have been replenished. If families need new cards, they can call the Sunbucks call center. Find all of the details and apply for Sunbucks at hungerfreewashington.org/EBT. This message is presented by Safeway, where customers can use SNAP to save on produce and shop online. Find out if this new grocery benefit could help your family. For more information, visit hungerfreewa.org/summer EBT.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
It's a fact. When your eyes work correctly, light focuses through both your cornea and your lens to give you high-quality vision. Hi, it's Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision. Here's another fact. As we near age 50, we begin to lose the quality and function of our natural lens. That's when we start to reach for reading glasses and contemplate those cataracts on the horizon, typically in our 70s or later, but inevitable if we get old enough. Fortunately, K2 Vision has the advanced permanent solution for both, refractive lens exchange, or RLE. K2 Vision RLE is a quick, painless procedure that restores distance and near vision permanently. Plus, another thing is permanent. You will never develop a cataract. After over 20 years replacing over 100,000 failing lenses, we will help you determine when it's your right time for RLE. Go to k2visionrle.com and schedule a free Zoom consultation today. K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, no contacts, no readers. Permanently.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone now through July 28th. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
All right, Takis fans. Wendy's knows you love your Takis Fuego chips, so we thought, why not make a Takis Fuego meal with a Takis Fuego chicken sandwich with spicy chicken topped with crushed Takis Fuego chips and creamy corn spread. Plus, it comes with Fuego fries inspired by Takis and a bag of Takis Fuego chips. If we had any more heat, we might start an actual... I told him this would happen. For an intense new take on Takis chips, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Includes 1-ounce Takis Fuego chips while supplies last. Takis and Fuego trademarks are used under license.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
No one wants to leave behind stress for their family. That's why a trust or a will is so important. Without one, your assets might go to the wrong people or leave out loved ones. Also, probate is long, expensive, and often avoidable with a revocable trust. Trustandwill.com makes it simple to create a personalized estate plan. A trust or will provides clarity and peace of mind. Get 20% off on your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/radio.
At Care Partners Senior Living, we believe in providing quality care at an affordable price. Instead of spending on luxury and expensive art, we invest in our people and accommodations with a focus on compassionate overall health. Our communities offer independent, assisted living and memory care designed to preserve dignity, independence, in your estate. Affordable, personal, trusted. That's our promise. Please give us a call. We have beautiful Care Partners communities throughout Washington and Arizona. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
Cars for Kids, your trusted charity for car donations, also accepts donations of boats, RVs, motorcycles, and real estate. Call today, 877-CARS4KIDS.
Oh, we're back, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Appreciate all of you hanging out with us right now. it's time for your text messages. What do you got, Ursula?
Well, we want to thank Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank again for joining us on the show. In case you missed it, it was our entire 906 segment, and then we extended it to continue into the next segment. And you can hear all of it if you missed it when we have our podcast available to you about a half hour after the show. Becky from Roy texted in and said, "Thank you for your persistence and dedication to accuracy and integrity in your coverage. I voted for Mr. Swank, and I now stand in my kitchen flabbergasted and gutted."
Rich on the road says, "I drive the elderly to appointments. I had 5 elderly passengers this morning who heard your coverage of the Major's accident and then the sheriff's interview. A complete mix of folks on board. They were assorted gasps during his interview, and at one point, after one of his responses, one of the ladies said, 'This guy sucks.' That was the opinion of all of us on board based on his answers."
Carrie Ann Bonnie Lake says, "Swank derangement syndrome," which he accused us of. "This guy is an elected law enforcement official. Good Lord."
Crystal in Tacoma says, "How does this man continue to say he doesn't know anything? He doesn't know if anyone was injured? People would rather vote for a deranged man than a qualified woman with decades of experience."
Sue in Tacoma says, "My husband didn't do his homework. He wanted me to tell you that as we listened to your interview with Keith Swank. He voted for Swank over Jackson, and he regretted that almost immediately. We're liberal as heck, but my husband heard something in Swank's ads that swayed him in that direction. I voted for Patty Jackson. We're sorry his deputies have to be saddled with this embarrassing and possibly damaging ways."
Beth in Tacoma says, "I'm calling BS on Swank's claim he hasn't read the records. You know he's read everything."
Ed in Ballard says, "You guys are professional angels. That guy was a real piece of work. Can you imagine going on the radio to set the story straight, only to repeatedly emphasize that you haven't read any of the reports or talked to those at the scene? That guy was pretty self-assured for claiming not to know anything."
Ursula, can I want to ask you something. Were you surprised when he said that I hadn't read anything?
Yes, and I don't believe it. I flat out don't believe it. It's been he listens to our show. He listens to every show. It has been widely reported on every newscast. You knew. I don't believe it.
Okay. The month from hell on the freeways. James in the 253 says, "I'm glad for all these traffic problems. We're finally progressing on important infrastructure upgrades, something this region desperately needs. Temporary pain, long-term gain."
James in the 253, you're so right, though. So when we're stuck in traffic for the next month, I'm just going to keep saying temporary gain, pain, long-term gain, kind of like when I exercise.
Can I give a shameless plug?
Yes, please.
When you're stuck in traffic, the Gee and Ursula Show will be right here for you.
Yeah, we will. We'll either make you happy or really make you hacked off even more. Okay. Private beaches. Ryan in the 360 says, "I live on a small private lake, and you really don't have a right to get mad if people want to fish around your dock as long as they're in a boat. I mean, that's where the fish hang out. It's around the docks. I mean, if you want to be fishing, then get your butt out there, and fish can't get mad at and fish."
Yeah.
You can't get mad at other people for fishing around your stuff.
Okay, Ursula. You got to round up the show today. What do you got for the words to live by? We need something good.
I am going to quote the poet Maya Angelou, who says, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. They know themselves much better than you do." As you said, I wanted to wrap up the show.
Hold on. Before I go to you, Nick, Ursula,
yes?
I wasn't expecting that words to live by.
It's
so
true,
if
right?
somebody shows you who they are,
yeah, believe them the first time. However, I am still a firm believer if they say, and the first text message that we got,
yeah,
Becky from Roy.
What Becky
says, "I voted for Mr. Swank, and I now stand in my kitchen flabbergasted and gutted." If you recognize that, oh my gosh, whatever it is,
yeah,
I made a mistake, I need to do better. And that's what I would have loved to have heard from Keith Swank when I asked him about those tweets that he made. And he's doubled down and tripled down.
It was on the nose over there. Well, it's really been a melting pot of ways we're staying cool, from some time out with the sprinkler to a day beside the pool, but we didn't get the memo on a change in new aromas, with hot garbage marinating putting us into a coma. Ooh, that smell. So try holding noses walking by the dump if you're around. There's an extra bag or two inside the bin or on the ground, and with extra traffic coming, hopefully your car isn't stuck next to it either. So fingers crossed for all of you out there.
Fingers crossed for sure. Thank you, Nick.
All right, Ursula. Oh, by the way, how did your barbecue go?
We didn't touch the grill. It was way too hot.
Okay.
But I took everyone's advice. We did
You have some spring rolls?
We had some spring rolls with shrimp too, and the peanut sauce.
Yeah.
The fresh spring rolls, Thai, and then we ordered Thai food, and then I also went to Fred Meyer and got some fruit.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have to cook it all, and all the food was taken up, and we had a great time. It's just great to hang out with my boys in the pool.
There you go. Wait, in the pool? Oh.
Yeah, we went to the pool.
Fancy. Ursula, thank you.
Not my pool.
Thank you, Chef. Nick, appreciate you.
You too, man.
All right, the Jake and Spike Show, they're coming in next. We appreciate you for listening. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you had as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
You just invested in new gutter guards to keep the junk out. So why are they clogged with moss and gunk? Well, here's the missing link between just any gutter guards and ones that actually work. You see, most gutter guards, sure, they stop leaves, but they don't stop what grows on them. Moss, algae, grime, they take over, turning your new gutter guards into a plugged, soggy mess. And that's where Moss Eater's gutter guards come in. They're changing the game. It's the only gutter guard with copper-infused tech. That means moss, algae, and gunk won't grow on it. It's like having a built-in Moss Eater on your home. And look, at Moss Eaters, we're not just going to install your guards and then let you fend for yourself. No, we're going to maintain your roof, too. Because a clean roof and clog-free gutters means no water, no leaks, and no stress. Get the only gutter